Hey everybody, welcome to Back Issues. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Tiffany.
Many years ago, we did Spider-Man and Superman teaming up, 1976 crossover classic. It's one of the first, in fact, if it isn't the first, superhero pairing of Marvel and DC. Marvel and DC, of course. Actually, Marvel and DC, their first comic book crossover was The Wizard of Oz! It's true.
What?
Yeah, they did a comic book adaptation of the movie The Wizard of Oz.
Why'd they both do it?
Because they both just couldn't resist the siren call of the cash cow that was a comic book adaptation. We did the Spider-Man Superman crossover, and it's fun, and it's like I've learned a lot since then, talking about it on the show. Where you know, I thought it was a great like celebration of collaboration, and it is. You know, you read the forewords and the afterwards, and you see the promotion around it and all that stuff, and it's just this kind of really cute, genuine, oh, look at these guys like coming together to give us something that maybe we asked for. Superman and Spider-Man, not really, but like, okay, I'll take it. And then it turns out, actually, it took a lot of work, and it was all about money, and there was like a dick measuring contest from the get-go, and that the iconic cover of Superman and Spider-Man teaming up was through a system of checks and balances and arguments about like, well, Superman can't be bigger than Spider-Man on the cover, so you need to come up with a way in which they are both featured prominently while also capturing a dynamic style and having them proportionately be the same fucking size. And I'm like, oh my god. And you know what's funny is that's basically just the Fast and Furious, isn't it? Like, this just, well, if Vin Diesel punches The Rock, then The Rock must be able to kick, but a kick is stronger than a punch. Well, not a Vin Diesel punch. Oh, well, we're gonna have to take this to the lawyers. That's a real thing. It's part of the reason why I don't watch those movies.
Well, that only came in later.
It did.
The Rock didn't even show up.
Which
until
actually
like
means
the
that
fifth one
the earlier Fast and Furious movies have like more integrity.
They do.
Here's two suggestions for the Fast and Furious franchise, by the way, which
two. Oh.
needs no help. One, get Michael Bay to direct one of them.
That's
Come
an idea.
on.
Wow.
And two, cross over with Hasbro. Because I want to see, if you're going to do a movie about superheroes who drive cars, then have those cars turn into robots.
You're almost there.
What are the GoBots?
The GoBots were actually the original Transformers. They came before Transformers. So yeah, Paramount could just buy the GoBots license and be like, fuck you, Transformers. We're doing GoBots now.
Go
fast.
Go
Bot
bots.
Furious.
There's something there. There's something there.
Yeah, thank you, Tiffany. That's why we need a woman in the writer's room. Today we're talking about the second time that Superman and Spider-Man crossed over.
Are they the same size on the cover?
Yeah, are they
Of course they
proportionally?
are.
Yep.
They must be.
Oh yeah, look at that.
They're in similarly boring poses.
Right, it has to, and that's the thing, is it has to be boring, because how can you make it dynamic?
I will say
they did it with the first one, and that they succeeded with that one.
it does seem like Soups is kind of stepping in on Spider-Man's side there.
Well, that's thematically relevant because Spider-Man is just a big bitch in this comic book.
How did Marvel let that happen?
I don't know, because the people who made this comic book should not have let that happen. And I think it's because there are more characters in this book than just Superman and Spider-Man. It is written by Jim Shooter with art by John Buscema.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Jim Shooter stepped in personally to write this one from his editorial perch to give us one of the worst crossovers I've ever read in my life.
I can't wait. I love the back too. Spider-Man's whole thing, he's just swinging.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Superman had a chain around him.
Well, because it's iconic.
Yeah, I know.
Watching him do that. Neil Adams, of course, perfected it.
Presumably, these two were in the same room.
Yeah. You have to understand, the only thing...
It was a different time.
Yes, it was 1981. A simpler time.
What?
There had only been 2 Star Wars movies. But this takes place in the Earth where the DC and Marvel universe cohabitate.
Right.
That is, of course, the Earth in which Superman versus Spider-Man, Batman versus the Incredible Hulk, probably also Teen Titans versus X-Men, all took place, or rather will take place, because...
where they all know who the other ones are.
They are aware of each other, but have never interfered with each other's seminal moments.
Right.
And in fact, they even reference those in this. Like, there's a moment in which someone says, "It's weird we never bumped into each other." And I'm like, don't say that. It's not weird, because you've never bumped into each other before. And don't put a hat on it by saying that you lived in the same city.
They live in the same city?
There's a... We'll get there. So, Spider-Man's just swinging around. Spider-Man sucks.
Wait, before you jump into this,
I'm so frustrated.
And how frustrated you are. This is neat. The way they just
the way in which they like work in the credits.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's not great.
No, but they're working on it.
You know what? They're getting there.
They did something.
Back then, they're like Superman. That's the big deal. That's the get.
We're helping your guy.
Ironically, in today's world, DC would be very lucky to get this again. Like, to have Superman appear in a Spider-Man comic. Just in terms of sales.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of those things. That's one of the deals of the DC Marvel crossovers that, like, no one talks about. And that even we haven't talked about. And we've done, what, like half a dozen or more on this show?
Yeah.
But the idea that if we're going to do this, what's in it for me? And so, like, if they did a Batman Daredevil crossover, or another one, because there have been two, and they're both wholly disappointing.
Oh.
But if they were to do one today, Batman clearly outsells Daredevil.
By a lot. Yeah.
By a lot. So, in that essence, DC is helping Marvel with sales, because we're promoting Daredevil with our IP. So what will you do for us?
Right.
So Superman would have to appear in
like
a
Spider-Man.
higher selling book like Spider-Man, which is actually kind of funny because it would be kind of cool to see that go full circle. You know, for Superman and Spider-Man team up, even though it's the least exciting one for me. Like, I want to see Batman and Spider-Man crossover more.
They're both big sellers.
Yeah,
They are big
despite not
sellers.
sell enough.
Batman will always sell more. The fact is, Batman is the rising tide that lifts all ships.
Well, there was that time.
The Tom King time.
When
Al Ewing was outselling Batman.
Yeah.
Unless you ask some people in the comments who are like, actually, that is a fallacy, and I loved the Tom King run.
all right, you can love it all you want.
Yeah, I love Tom King, man. He comes on the show. Like, he's
a good guy.
I like a lot of the books he writes, just not Batman.
And a lot of people did not like that book.
Enough people
Yeah.
to let Immortal Hulk suddenly outsell Batman, which is also bringing it full circle the second DC Marvel crossover, which is Batman versus the Incredible Hulk. Presumably because they're both named Bruce. So
That is
Spider-Man
so bankrupt.
I mean, like, wait until you read this. So Spider-Man sees some, what he assumes are bank robbers. It's just a bunch of dudes, and they're at a construction site, and Spider-Man attempts to make mincemeat of them.
I think they're also wearing, I mean, I see one of them has a gun, but presumably he could just see that they're wearing hard hats. It's
Right.
like, maybe they're working.
Right, they could be. There's a hole in the wall. We're suggesting that they're working at a construction
Like as
site.
though they're like, we put a hole in this wall. There's not supposed to be a hole in this wall.
Yeah, I don't like holes in walls. That usually means destruction. I'm in. And then he just senselessly beats these poor construction workers.
I'm sure that's not what it is.
It is not. They are bad guys, and they are using special, like, laser guns. They're like, oh, we should use these special weapons that we have that were given to us through illegal means to fight Spider-Man. But he's so awesome, we can't possibly beat him. Meanwhile, of course, Spider-Man's convenient SLR is taking photographs of the ensuing action. Spider-Man just beats them all up, webs them up for the police, and before he can get his druthers, the police arrive, and they clandestinely quick, I might say, you know? Like
as though someone called them ahead of time?
As though someone had called them ahead of time. But before...
Is Spidey a menace?
He is considered to be a menace, although by 81... Yeah, by 81 he's mostly a superhero that everyone kind of likes, but he is just always on the verge of being persona non grata in the public eye, thanks in large part to J. Jonah Jameson's smear campaign through the Daily Bugle.
So it's like every issue he's got to prove himself again. He's
Yes,
like,
which is kind of frustrating, and I can imagine, like, there's a moment where Spider-Man has that in this, where he's like, oh my god, I can't catch a break, and then he muses about why nobody likes him, but like then you read his dialogue, and I'm like, that is why no one likes you. Because every time he says anything, he says like a joke or an attempted witticism, and it just falls like a lead balloon. It just does not land. And it's like, because Jim Shooter don't write Spider-Man, you know? Although he will figure it out better in Secret Wars, which is only 3 years away. So Spider-Man has defeated these thugs, or bank robbers. The police are arriving, but in between, his spider sense goes off, and he's like, oh, what's going on with that? So he's just look around, and then the police show up, and they're like, Spider-Man, you're under arrest! And he's like, oh, fuck, so he leaves. And it turns out that he is being monitored by none other than Dr. Doom!
Oh.
Why?
Because
Noted Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, noted and infamous Spider-Man villain, which is actually not far off because in 1981, the same year this came out, there is a Spider-Man animated series, the first of which since the 60s, that has launched, and it heavily features Doctor Doom as a major bad guy, and knowing that Jim Shooter wrote this means there is no doubt in my mind that he's trying to draw synergy to that show, because from Marvel's beginnings till its acquisition by Disney, Marvel fancied themselves a rival to Disney.
Right.
Which is ironic and hilarious because, of course, they filed for Chapter 11 and because people could be fucked to name 6 characters that are not on the Avengers. You know, like, around this time, I should say.
Right,
you know, like, name me 6 DC characters. You know, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, Green Lantern. You're like, okay, done. Name me 6 Marvel characters that don't include...
5, excuse me.
Okay, fine. Then
Flash.
Flash, thank you. But name me 6 Marvel characters that don't include Spider-Man, and it's like, do the Fantastic Four count as 4 or 1? Honestly, Marvel was actually outselling DC at this point, so it's a little bit of hyperbole to suggest that. But in the cultural zeitgeist, outside of comics, Marvel is like, here's some shit. I don't know. I think it's just that Marvel was just so happy to literally license anything. So Dr. Doom is monitoring this location because he owns the construction site, because it's part of a clandestine operation.
It's all part of the
part of the scheme of Dr. Doom.
Is he here or is he in Latveria?
He's neither. He's in another base that is nearby.
Okay.
Okay. He's in the U.S.
He is in the U.S. He's actually below the Latvian embassy.
Oh, technically then he's in Latveria.
That's right, which he will definitely cash in on later in the story. So he goes on I want to call it 15 speech bubble long speech.
Oh, boy.
Is very in keeping with Dr. Doom. It's
super
fun.
That seems like very much him. He's like, oh, am I on the page?
So in character. Like, that's the thing, is that Jim Shooter's like, no, I'm pushing Dr. Doom. I'm going to use this Superman-Spider-Man crossover to push Dr. Doom. Accurately and favorably. Like, it's fun to see him. And he's doing his thing. And I love it because Doom gives this speech, and it's every speech I've ever heard of Dr. Doom's, about how everyone's stupid, he's the smartest, he's got an operation, it's gonna be great, he's gonna rule the world, blah, blah, blah. And then he tells his underlings to make sure that the recording of his speech is transcribed because he'd like to read it later. Because, like Prince, every room in Latveria and in the Latvian embassy is wired for sound. So Doom is constantly recording everything, and especially himself, at all times. Because he likes to hear his own speeches.
Maybe he got
giving to himself.
Maybe he got on a roll and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna use this later.
He literally says,
there's some good stuff in there.
I'll wait to read it later. I believe my last soliloquy to be particularly inspirational.
Yeah, I might need that later to rally the Doom bots. You know, I like to give him a little pep talk occasionally.
Yeah. But then after that, he goes into his quarters and he laments his horrible visage, of course, just mangled by his own hubris. Imagine the future that might have come if he had only preserved his beautiful face, but now has resulted in a predilection for smashing mirrors, and breaks the mirror and then puts on his mask, which he hates and is stifling, and he can almost barely manage to wear it.
Maybe he shouldn't have made it out of metal. If he didn't want to
You made the damn thing, dude! I don't know what
it's like the most uncomfortable
It's not like it's a medical mask.
Make.
It's not like, you know, like you have to. I'm sorry, you have to wear this metal mask.
Yeah, there's no other way
to keep your face on.
No.
Like, it's the only thing.
It looks like it's bolted to his face. It looks like he can't take it off.
No, he can.
But he can.
Yeah. No,
so, like, why did you make it that way? Why are there rivets all over it?
Because it looks cool.
He's like, I have to suffer for my coolness.
Yeah.
Because it's intimidating.
That's right.
That's how I keep people in line.
Maybe Doom is recording himself all the time so that he can feed it into the Doom bot so that they can more appropriately sound like him.
Yes. It's like the AI
He's
programs
training
that
the
they
AI.
use
Yeah.
for, like on the Obi-Wan show. Like, you know, Vader sounds really good because it's a combination of James Earl Jones and the AI predicting his voice.
Right.
Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah.
I'm gonna retcon this. I'm like the Dave Filoni of this book. I'm gonna make it work.
Well, then you're gonna need a bigger hat. So in this great Superman-Spider-Man crossover, we have not just gotten Spider-Man, we've gotten Dr. Doom. And then Dr. Doom is like, well, there's also another element to my plot, and it's the Incredible Hulk.
What?
Sweet.
But he's,
another Marvel character.
But he's
Jim
not
Shooter.
on the book.
He is not on the cover. It's Superman and Spider-Man, and it was a bitch to get these two on the cover.
Well, where is Superman?
What?
He's gonna be
He's
here.
coming.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. He's on his way.
It doesn't feel like
And
it.
you
now
can fight
it's
the Hulk
Hulk.
now.
Yeah. Hey.
Because the Hulk's part of Doom's plan, so that's definitely gonna happen.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You get a Hulk Superman fight.
I'm excited for that.
It's worth the price of admission, let me tell you. Except it isn't. It's horrible. So.
Oh.
So Doom's like, okay, well now I need you to unleash Operation H.
For
Not
Hulk.
Preparation
Hulk.
H.
We need to apply it to the most itchy of situations. So they've triggered the Hulk, and they're leading him on a directed rampage towards Metropolis.
They just leave like cake and candy out for him.
No, they're actually annoying him into going to Metropolis. They can't figure it out, but Superman discovers later that like they've outfitted Hulk with like a little sonic device behind his ear that's emitting an annoying sound.
Like
when he
driving
goes,
him in a
when he
direction.
goes
Yes.
the right way, it turns off, or like it's quieter.
It just leads. Well, they don't even get into the specifics of how it works.
somehow
Let's assume that's how it works because it
Told
makes
ya.
more sense than what happens in this book.
Hat.
So Hulk's being directed towards Metropolis. Meanwhile, Spider-Man awakens from his alarm, which was wrong, and so he's an hour behind, and his life sucks. He's drinking curdled milk. He's on his way to his class. He's an hour behind.
Is it daylight savings? Why is it an hour behind?
Because he's an idiot. I must have set
set
the
it
wrong
wrong?
alarm.
He is a student.
He's a student. We get it.
Moving on.
Yep.
Is this high school?
It's college.
Okay, it's college.
Yeah, no, it's college.
Okay.
So he flirts with Cindy, and Cindy's like, "You're kind of a dork, but you are drawn by John Buscema, so you're kind of handsome."
You're kind of a dork, but like you clearly are ripped, and there's
Right.
no way your clothes are hiding that. But
Not
they
at all.
are right now.
Yeah, kind of. You know, because he's got the first 3 buttons on his shirt open,
Right.
so he's going Italian.
But like when you see him as Spider-Man, his thighs are huge.
Yeah.
There's no way those pants.
can withstand them.
Yeah.
So she's like, "All right, sure, you can take me out to dinner." And he's like, "Okay, so I'm broke. How about we take a walk in the park?" And she's like, "Maybe when your mommy gives you an allowance, you can ask me out again." And she leaves. And I'm like, fair. But also, ouch. And he's like, "That's devastating."
Why didn't he just lead with that? Like go like, hey, like you want to go for a walk?
She would have been like, "No, I am not a cheap date."
Yep.
That's not
you
a
could
date.
take me to dinner.
That's just a walk.
That is not a date. Yeah, going
Well,
out
that
for
sounds
a walk
boring
is
then.
not a date.
You know what though? Like, but like it's a great way to non-committally get to know this person,
That's
whether
true.
or not they're worth
Yeah,
the
if he's a
date.
creep, you can just run off in the other direction.
Yeah, you go like, I'm done. Hey, I didn't have to spend my time.
No free meal though. So
While she's walking with him, she could have been having a free meal with somebody else.
exactly.
Her time is
Valuable.
money. Yeah.
That is
Spider-Man
that is
laments
not,
the
that
fact.
is not how dating works.
So Spider-Man laments the fact that he doesn't even have a mom. He's like, "Oh, that makes me sad because all I've had is Aunt May, and she's freaking. She's an albatross around my neck."
She's like the kindest, most understanding,
Yeah.
immortal person in the
Well, that's
Marvel
the thing,
She's so
universe.
old.
That's the thing is, he's like, "I got to pay for her last hospital stay. We don't which one doesn't fucking matter. It's just, there's a time
Right.
it happens all the time, but it's just like my life sucks. Let's hope that
Right. She's not paying her way.
no, she's not. But let's hope that these photos of Spider-Man will somehow offset my miserable life." So he goes to Jonah, and Jonah's like, "No, these photos suck, and Spider-Man's old news. I'm not interested. Like,
What?
I'm not even gonna pay you like not fair. I'm not gonna pay you for these photos at all.
Wow.
Fuck you."
I'm not even going to use them to slander
But he's
Spider-Man.
a menace.
Yeah.
Don't you want these?
No, I know. I have like a very personal vendetta against Spider-Man that I use my news outlet to turn into a blog, but I'm foregoing it because these are just so shitty. I'm doing it to teach you a lesson, Parker. A lesson about responsibility. And then, for no reason, Jonah has a poster of Superman up in his office, and he's like, Superman's a big deal. He also sucks because he's a superhero, and I don't like costume characters. And I'm like, what?
Then why do you have
this
a
should be an
poster?
opportunity for Jonah to be like a closet Superman fan.
Right.
He's like, hey, he shows
He
his
does
face.
it the right way, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
no, he's like, I don't like
What is
him.
he doing wrong?
Right. He's in a costume. The idea is Jonah doesn't like anyone in a
Oh,
costume.
he doesn't like costumes.
He's better than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that.
Well, that's, I
Older
mean,
than me.
yeah.
Literally, he can fly.
Yeah.
Screw that.
Fuck that. But anyway, Hulk's heading towards Metropolis. Why don't you get some pictures of a real superhero? Maybe I'll buy those off your hands. Get the hell out of here.
This is the first appearance of Superman in this book. Is on a poster.
That's right.
With his comic book logo over him.
Yeah, this is a Spider-Man book. What's happening?
Yeah. Well, Jim Shooter's writing it. It's a Marvel book, and Superman gets to be in it.
You're welcome.
But don't worry, because Superman's actually like, and maybe it's Jim Shooter trying to pants Superman, because he's like, every encounter Superman gets into, not to bury the lead or anything, but Superman is just like, well, I'll just solve that problem, and then does. And it's like Shooter's like, these are Marvel characters. Look at how interesting and complicated their lives are. You could imagine reading their adventures every week. But with Superman, oh no, a problem, I've solved the problem.
He's
That's
stupid
pretty
and
fucking
boring.
boring, isn't it?
Some people
And
want
DC,
that, though,
maybe
I
I'll
guess.
trick DC to thinking that looks great, you know? Like Spider-Man looks like a tool, but you'd rather read about Spider-Man and his many rogues galleries and his many supporting cast members. But with Superman, it's like, oh, look at him against the Marvel Universe and how like, a problem, I've solved it. That's pretty lame. But DC will go like, ooh, Superman can solve any problem. He's even more powerful than anyone in the Marvel Universe. How thank you very much for making your characters look lame and stupid by comparison. I mean, it seems pretty genius, and I think that might actually be the case because I know that Shooter is definitely thinking in those terms.
Right. Well, that's like Marvel's whole MO, right?
Yeah, it's like
grounded stories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what villain will be joining us from
The DC Universe.
Right.
Yeah.
There has to be
There
one.
has to be one.
is-
There has to be one.
There is, and you'll meet him soon.
Is it Lex?
It is not. He was in the last one.
Oh, because Lex and Doom,
I know.
that's like
It's
perfection.
Yeah, but Doom wouldn't elect to work with Lex because Lex's intellect rivals his own.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And we had Lex and Doc Ock team up in the last one, and we had to do that because how else will you see Lex Luthor ride Doc Ock out of prison? Robbie's like, holy shit, Jonah, like you threw his pictures in the air and then told him to go to another city to maybe make money. Like maybe you were kind of hard on him. He goes, kids these days have it too easy. Everyone's really light on them. Fuck them. I'm teaching him a valuable lesson.
Yeah, and what is that?
That life sucks.
When you're not me.
Yeah.
Don't trust your employer. So
No one will help you ever.
ever. So Clark and Lois are at this point in the pre-crisis 80s. Lois and Clark work for WGBS, which is of course the like TV element of the news in
They don't work for the Daily Planet?
The Daily Planet I think was acquired, so it's all part of the same news outlet.
Okay.
The Daily Planet does the paper news and GBS does the TV stuff. Clark is a TV anchor.
What?
That makes sense.
No, it doesn't. That's a terrible idea.
I know.
He looks like
People
Superman.
see his face every day.
It doesn't make sense for him to do that, but it makes sense that they would want him to be one.
Yes.
Because he has those, like, you know, that rugged but nerdy look. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a horrible idea.
I agree.
Like one keen, eyed watcher is gonna go, that is Superman.
That is straight up Superman.
That's Superman.
No, that's how
And
good
how
the
is he-
Clark Kent
wait a minute.
disguise is.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Because Superman leaves all the time. Like he's in the newsroom
does,
with them,
and he does
right?
it, like, 6
and
times
who
in
the
this
hell
book.
cares? Because it's a fucking newspaper.
Right.
But like you're at
If
the
it's real
desk.
time,
What are you
how
gonna
do you
do?
leave?
That happens in this book. It's actually kind of funny. So they're in the helicopter. Superman, Clark and Lois and their news team.
Okay.
And they're filming the destruction of this small town in the wake of the Hulk's rampage. And it's actually really well rendered.
Yeah, wow.
It's really cool looking, and I just really enjoyed it.
Hulk smash.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Superman, Clark Kent, is like looking for Hulk, and he uses his X-ray telescopic vision to try and
He
find
lifts his
Hulk.
glasses up and someone's like, hey, it's Superman.
Hey, Superman, what the fuck are you doing?
Okay.
So he's looking for Hulk, and he can't find him. He's like, wow, that's weird. Is he that fast? Is he fast too?
Why does he need to lift his glasses up to use X-ray vision? Can't he see through
Wait,
anything?
he's doing it over there without doing that.
Well, no, because in that one he's using heat vision, and this one he's using telescopic.
I feel like,
telescopic
wait,
vision.
hang on. I feel like you definitely want to lift your glasses up if you're using heat vision so you
No.
don't shoot a hole through them.
Yes. No, he goes through 12 pairs of glasses.
Like,
a
what-
day.
like-
It's backwards.
I
Like,
agree.
Clark, what happened to your glasses? You got 2 holes in your glasses.
Little holes in your glasses. Jimmy meets them. He's like, hey, guys, I'm here because I'm told by the boss, who's not Perry White. Perry White is still in charge of the planet, but he's got a boss too. And Jimmy's sent to go collect Clark and Lois to go to a meeting.
Are Jimmy and Peter going to be really good friends?
They meet and become friends, yes, because they're both photographers for major metropolitan newspapers.
And also losers? I don't know
And
really. if
losers.
Jimmy-
Jimmy is de facto a loser, but at the same time, like, you know, yeah. So
Don't add us, Jimmy stands.
Clark is like, oh shit, well I gotta go look for the Hulk, so I can't go to this meeting. So he's like, that helicopter ride really took my tummy for a
I have
spin.
crapped my pants. I have to leave.
Basically that, and Jimmy goes, yeah, the boss told me that he's not going to hear any horseshit excuse about you bailing on this meeting, and I'm here to
I mean,
take
if you want me to come to the meeting with my drawers filled.
No, but like Jimmy goes, he said he'll fire me if I don't bring both of you.
Oh.
So you better get here or you're going to ruin my career. And Clark's like, oh, fucking fine. And so they go, and we get to meet up with Perry and his boss and Steve Lombard, who of course is a douche nozzle from...
Is he the sports guy?
He's the sports guy. He's an ex like athlete from like, you know, high school.
Yeah.
He's the
the Flash Thompson.
But as Spider-Man remarks later, even Flash Thompson grew up.
Oh. And got a symbiote.
That's great.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, what the hell? Where's Steve Lombard's thing? You know what they should do? They should get that alien that was on Guy Gardner, made him warrior, and give that to Steve Lombard. Just do their own kind of agent warrior kind of thing.
And then he could be NFL Super Pro.
Oh, God.
That's Marvel's. They can't own that.
Oh,
they have
right.
to be
Damn
some
it.
other thing.
Forgot about that.
Maybe he can be the XFL Super Pro. So, Lombard's like, oh, this pretty girl from accounting gave me this fucking flower on my shirt. And Clark's like, fuck me, man. Like a squirting boutonniere. Like, he's thinking this to himself.
Yeah.
He's just like, and he should just be like, Lombard, grow up, man. The boutonniere, really? Like, what magic shop did you buy this from?
Also, why would I smell your boutonniere?
Right, like, grow up, man. And just shame him in front of the entire news team. But instead, he's just like, oh my God. I guess if I get squirted by it, it'll maintain the visage of me being a nerd.
It's all part of this disguise.
But I really don't feel like being squirted in the face right now. So instead, he just uses his heat vision to ruin the flower thing, like so that the mechanism shoots into Lombard's face instead.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, thank
Perfect.
you. I like to say maybe
That's awesome.
I've had enough.
Yeah. No.
I'm not going to shame him in front of everybody, but I'll let him do it himself.
I have to go fight the Hulk.
Right. Which is what people are here for. I can imagine a lot of DC fans go, what the fuck is this? Like, when will there be a
Why
fight?
are these people talking? Shut up.
Exactly. And you can tell Shooter has no regard for these people because everything they say is so droll and boring.
Yeah.
But they're talking about Hulk and how maybe he's gonna be here. Like, it looks like he's on a trajectory towards Metropolis. So everybody go out and look for the Hulk except for you, Clark. I need you at the desk ready to report on when the Hulk shows up. And he's like, oh, and he goes, yeah, I knew you were gonna fucking make up an excuse for some reason. And I'm telling you, I am sick of it, and you're just, no.
Just put Lois at the desk.
Yeah, she's way more qualified.
Well, actually, she's a better reporter, so she really shouldn't be
She really
back
should
there.
be on doing the beat. So
Jimmy?
Like Clark gets dressed down at the meeting and then just stares what seems like, according to everyone around him, in a kind of wistful, forlorn, introspective way.
Yeah.
Actually, he's using his telescopic vision, which he doesn't need to lift his glasses for this time, to look for the Hulk, and then he finds him. It turns out that the Hulk is in Metropolis right now already, and that he used the sewers, which are lead-lined, which is bad news bears for the people of Metropolis.
Yeah, what?
But just to block Superman's vision, because of course he stupidly told people he can't see through lead. But you know, so he's dealing with it now. But he's like, fuck. Okay, so Hulk's here, and he's here faster than we all anticipated, and he must have used the underground tunnels. He must be being aided by someone because, you know, Hulk doesn't seem like the kind of person who strategized his rampage towards Metropolis,
right?
Which also mirrors the rampage that Doomsday takes to Metropolis, but not. But he is an idiot and does do it without like any kind of provocation. So anyway, he's like, I gotta get the fuck out of this meeting. It's like he just shits himself.
Well,
I've lost control of my bowels
and my dignity,
as I warned you. Christ Almighty, Clark. So.
I don't care. Get behind the desk.
You shit your pants to get out of a meeting. That's the most
You're
fucked up
fired.
thing ever.
If you don't want to work here, just quit.
Nope.
So, out in another room,
Yeah.
a shrill voice shrieks out, "Run, the Hulk is right outside the building." Which it's not,
Oh.
but Superman's super ventriloquism convinces everyone that that's what happened, and then proceeds to stamp his foot, which shakes the building.
Right. Instead of smashing through the floor.
Yeah. No,
Right?
it's a controlled foot. Like, you know, it's a controlled
Wait,
landing.
it shakes
Yeah.
The building.
How is the floor
Pre-Crisis Superman.
connected enough to the rest of the building that
The
you could...
load-bearing floor.
Oh, okay.
That also doesn't break at all.
So
Yeah.
the building is shaking, and everyone's like, holy shit, the Hulk's here! Oh fuck, the Hulk's here! We're all gonna fucking die! And they all just make their way out of here, and Clark's like, finally.
Yeah, I thought they'd never leave.
Goes into a storage
He's like, I
closet.
really thought I was going to shit my pants. I
Yeah.
really
Glad I thought of this ventriloquism
did not want to
thing.
take a super dump
So-
here.
So he goes into a storage closet, and like, Shooter makes sure to say it's like a familiar place for Clark Kent, which he's used a dozen times before, and you know, whatever. So he's Superman. There he goes. And the coloring is really weird, and it looks like
Yeah,
he's...
why is he so dark?
I don't know. That's but one drop in the bucket of the ocean of
strange
bullshit that's happening in
choices.
the
Because he's not over there.
I know.
It's like something just got messed up, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be oversized. This is like a reprinting. This is a 1995 reprinting. And what else happens in 1995? We'll talk about that at the end of the book.
Ooh.
So, but like, why would they remind you of this? You'll see why. So, Hulk is having a rampage. It's just not in.
Just not
imagine
there.
everybody getting outside.
You're like, what?
What the fuck?
I thought
And then you
Hulk-
hear like the rampage like 2 blocks away. Like I guess he came by, barely smashed, and then started really smashing over there.
Well, we're very lucky.
Yeah.
So-
Well, let's go back to that meeting.
Yeah.
Where the
Clark?
hell is Clark?
So Superman encounters the Hulk. First time they're meeting. Yay.
Oh.
Cool. He goes, easy, big fella. And so they fight. He's like, I don't want to hurt you. And Hulk's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to fuck you up. Hulk's going to smash you. So,
You don't want to hurt me.
right?
I'm the Hulk.
Yeah. Hulk's like, how dare you, Cape Man? I'm going to fucking crush you. So,
You look like that guy on the news. Clark's like,
what?
oh no!
Yeah, so Hulk attacks Superman, and Superman's like, oh shit. Meanwhile, Peter Parker has arrived in Metropolis via a bus.
The buses are still running to Metropolis. The Hulk
Is on a rampage directly towards it. Yeah, well, the bus has got to run.
Yep.
You know? They keep ringing the bell! So Peter gets off the bus. He's like, okay, well, it looks like the Hulk's here too. I'll go. And he runs into an alley, dresses as Spider-Man, and sets up the camera.
He's in Metropolis. Why doesn't he just get his camera and do his job and let Superman take care of this?
What does he care?
He'll learn that lesson the hard way. So, you know, Superman smashes Hulk into a building. Hulk lands, and he's like, man, Hulk's either a big wuss or he's smart enough to lure me in by playing possum. There's no way that's what it is. I'll go check on him. And then he gets punched, like, into orbit.
I really like that the fist going up panel a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I really like that panel.
Yeah.
It's great.
That happens
good.
to me a lot in life.
Just, oh, is this going to be a problem for me? Wha-bam!
Oh.
It's actually all the problems. So Superman lands in another town, and Hulk's just like, fuck this. Stupid Cape Man. Starts smashing. Spider-Man,
Resume smashing.
yep, resuming his smashing. Spider-Man's got his camera ready. He's like, ah, jeez. Like, there's the Hulk. Okay, well, Superman's gone. I guess just me.
Yeah,
Hey.
Superman's gone forever.
Well, it's just
The Hulk
like,
punched him.
I got to
in-
do something.
Right.
So, you know, he's there. And then Superman arrives and he goes, hold it, Spider-Man. Get out of the way. I let him punch me that one time because I wasn't ready for it. But
Oh
now
my
that I
God.
am ready, I can totally take
You
the
didn't
Hulk.
let him punch you. He punched you.
Yeah, he literally says,
Now-
he says, step aside, son. This is a job for Superman. And Spider-Man goes, nuts!
You should be like,
Damn it.
The Hulk is my
Guy.
guy. I deal with the Hulk all the
Yeah.
time.
In Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 3, as an initiation for the Avengers, I had to fight the Hulk myself. That was in 1967. Like,
Yeah, but,
I've been at this a while.
but Hulk's had a lot more anchor, so he should be stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does. He actually, when he's fighting, well, this is actually happening right now. He pushes Spider-Man out of the way, and then Hulk's like, okay, and he gives a huge punch to Superman. Superman just takes it. And he says, yeah, when I don't want to be moved, I can't be moved. And Hulk's like, well, the madder I get, the stronger I get. So how about that? And so he starts just smashing at Superman, and
So
while...
it's an unstoppable force being an immovable object.
Yeah.
would be cool if it were in a better book. So instead, what happens is Superman's like, I'm starting to almost feel something. And then he notices the sound device behind Hulk's ear, and so he's like, well, I'll just use super speed to, like, grab it off his head.
Right.
And then burn it with my heat vision.
Oh, That was evidence.
Yeah, no, fuck
We could have
that.
studied
Yeah,
eyes.
we could have traced it back
Superman
to
has
somebody.
no
we
regard
could,
for
oh,
evidence.
okay.
You'll see that later. So, so now Hulk's like, you made the noise go away. He mentioned a noise earlier. And Superman's like, no, noise.
Yes.
So he's like, Hulk's tired. He goes, well, then you should relax, Hulk. It's going to be okay. And Superman just talks the Hulk down until eventually Hulk's like, I don't want to Hulk doesn't want to relax. Fuck you. And he's like, but, I am tired. And I thought you were panty waist, but, I guess, you're stronger than you're as strong as me. And that kind of has my respect. And he starts to chill out, and then he turns into Bruce Banner. And Spider-Man's like, holy shit, Superman just talked down the Hulk into submission. I suck. And then he leaves. He just goes into an alley. He's like, well, that was a big fat waste of my fucking time.
You got
Did he
some
even get any
photos.
pictures, or did he?
Yeah, he got some pictures.
Oh, okay.
And,
That's not a waste of your time.
You just did your job. That's all.
yeah, but
You didn't have to get changed.
Spider-Man
so.
showed up, and he's like, ha! And then Superman's like, get the fuck out of the way. Spider-Man's like, okay. And then
Nuts.
he did.
Yeah.
Nuts!
Yeah, he saved you getting punched a couple times by the Hulk.
Yeah. And then the cops show up, and they're like, Superman, that was awesome what you did. You're amazing. You're the best.
Spider-Man's
Yay.
like, I hate everything.
Yeah. Spider-Man's like, wow, cool. So when I show up, the police shoot at me. And when Superman shows up, they treat him like he's Gandhi.
Nuts.
Nuts.
So then, the parasite emerges from the ground.
Is that the
here we
villain?
go.
This is the villain.
For a second on the cover, I was like, oh, is it Metallo? That'd be fun because,
They're both Metal Men.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's the parasite. Who, by the way, at this point is a pretty, lame, obscure Superman villain.
why isn't he purple on the cover then?
Because there's bad coloring of this reprint.
Yeah.
So Parasite climbs out of the hole. He's like, oh, God. Climbing out of the hole was really tough for me.
Why was he in?
Which
I'm sorry.
hole?
Why? Just a hole.
a
a
hole.
Hulk-caused hole.
Oh.
You see, okay, it's really bad storytelling because Parasite comes out of the ground and he's like, "Oh, I've emerged from a prison that Superman made for me," and you're like, "Wait, what the fuck? Are you referring to shit that happened on another Earth, in continuity?" Are we to presume that everything that's happening in current comics is also happening
Yeah, is
concurrently
Parasite now
on this
free in the DC universe?
Exactly. No, because Hulk caused that in the DC. In this merge universe, Hulk caused the hole. So in the real universe, no. The fact is, it's just we need a Parasite to emerge because that's more dramatic. But actually, then we need to give context for where he was in the first place.
It's also weird because he's the opposite colors of Hulk in a
know.
way, and it's
yeah.
What?
why?
Right, why? No. So Parasite's like, oh my God, I might die here. I'm so tapped.
That's probably okay.
Yeah, which is fine. Okay, we
no.
brought him back for 3 panels to kill him off. But instead, he's just like, oh, I'm so weak from not having energy, and I need to tap energy, but I don't have any right near me, so I guess I'll die. And then he proceeds to explain to the audience that he was informed by a clandestine benefactor that they would arrange. It's obviously Dr. Doom. Would arrange for the Hulk to smash at a particular location at a particular time that would then reverberate down into a special cell that was built for the Parasite who had been previously captured
How would he be told this?
via a microtransmitter that emitted a frequency that only the Parasite could hear via his brain.
Only Parasite.
It's just a it's like a little invisible
We just-
wireless phone that
the plot
shoots.
said that had to
Yes.
happen,
Yeah.
and so it just happened.
That is exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah, through Doom's intellect.
Yep, through
is
his,
how it happened.
his technological prowess
yes.
and his intellect.
Yeah.
That's right. And I love it because Parasite climbed out of a hole and he almost fucking dies. And
So good plan, Doom.
Was he about to die before?
no, when he's in his the Parasite. If you're not familiar with the Parasite's powers are he can take the energy and powers of, if it's a powered character, of a nearby person, anyone, and take their life as energy and augment it into his own. But he needs to keep doing it or he'll die. And so the prison
He's
cell.
like a shitty rogue.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the prison cell that was made for him emitted a low-level energy source so that he would be normal, but in the prison cell.
But
the
far
climb
away from
up-
people who could steal power.
That's
from
right,
him.
exactly.
Right, but the climb up.
They actually have a robot that gives him his stuff.
Maybe that's how he did it. It was a Doombot instead.
No, he
game-
says it's a microwave transmitter that tells him this.
Oh.
No, don't give them any. Don't give them an inch. Because they said it.
Right. So
So-
he climbs out of the hole, and now he's no longer being fed energy
Yes.
by the system, and they were only
Exactly.
giving him just enough.
Right.
Once he's not continuously supplied with energy by them,
Yeah.
he slips into a coma and dies.
Exactly. Which I'm like, why did you take that deal?
Right.
If you're broken
He's like, I just
enough to
assumed-
need a constant source of energy, or murder anyone around you,
What if he had run into the Hulk?
well, then he'd be, well,
I mean,
okay.
that's what was supposed to
So-
happen. Hulk was supposed to stay there so he could take the energy
that-
from him as soon as he came out of the hole.
That's absolutely right.
Okay.
Yes,
So
but
Superman fucked up the plan.
Superman did fuck up the plan. Well, actually, it wasn't the Hulk that was supposed to do it. It was Superman that was supposed to do it but the parasite can't absorb all of Superman's energy because that's too much energy and it would kill him too. So he has to take just enough energy.
He sucks.
Yeah, it's complicated for no reason, and like,
Wow.
why would you introduce this into an already complicated narrative? But yeah, so he was gonna take the Hulk, but like then Doom promised Superman would be there, and Parasite is Superman's greatest nemesis, as he says. Is that the kind of end for Superman's deadliest enemy? And I'm like, you are straight up not. You're
Yeah, that's
dying
just
on
a
a
lot.
rock from climbing.
Listen, he's dying. Give him a break. Let him have
Let him be
this.
melodramatic.
You're essentially starving to death.
Yes.
He didn't post this on Twitter. He's saying it to himself.
That's
like,
True.
And
You
unlike
get
Doom,
to
he's not
be dramatic
recording
if
it.
you're dying,
Yeah.
but
You're
it is-
always dying.
You're always dying.
like,
Don't
if-
call yourself
like,
Superman's greatest foe.
Anyone in this
not-
world right now, if they were dying right now,
Right.
could think to themselves, is
I'm
this-
Superman's greatest foe.
yeah, dead.
Yeah, but like, get your priorities
Thank
in
God,
order.
at least I was Superman's greatest foe.
Right. Oh yeah. Because I right before I leave this mortal coil, I like to lie to myself. But then, right before he does die, he suddenly feels this energy because Peter Parker's nearby. He's like,
Oh.
"Oh, I'm suddenly getting all this energy," because he can like kind of wirelessly get some energy, but not all the energy.
Right.
But it's enough to like knock Peter on his ass. And Peter's like, "Fuck me." Like, why am I suddenly
There's like
so
all
faint?
these people there too. Why don't you just pull from everybody?
Because Peter has more energy than the others because he has superpowers.
yeah, I get that, but like, I don't know.
There weren't enough people close
Just tap
enough
them all.
Right.
for him to get enough energy to survive.
Peter needs to feel faint so he can be caught by
Yeah.
Jimmy Olsen, who's
Right.
like, "Hey pal, what are you doing here?" And he's like, "I'm Peter Parker." And he's like, "You're Peter Parker who takes those pictures of Spider-Man." Like, "I'm Jimmy Olsen. I'm the guy who takes pictures of Superman." "Hey, listen, I'm gonna buy you a coffee." And Peter's like, "Fuck yes," because I clearly haven't eaten in like days. So
Peter's like, wait a minute, I have a really radical idea. Take some of my photos, and I'll take some of your photos,
Oh.
and we'll go back to our newspapers and pretend like there are photos.
yeah.
That is a good idea.
Except for the Jimmy part, that's exactly what happens. So Peter is taken by Jimmy to a coffee shop where the two of them like swap stories and chat. They're also trying to outdo each other in terms of deep V shirts because both of them have plunging necklines on their popped collars.
Yeah.
Peter takes this as an opportunity to bitch about J. Jonah Jameson, and Jimmy's like, "Man, Jameson sounds like a hard ass." He goes, that guy gave me my start. Like, I guess I should be kind of grateful, but like, fuck him anyway. And Jimmy's like, "Listen, like, Perry is great. You should come work for the Daily Planet." And he's like, "Okay." So then Peter,
What is his position on Spider-Man? Hero or menace?
they don't even think about him. He's like a footnote. So they bring Peter to the Daily Planet where Lombard is flirting up some desk jockey, and so Jimmy introduces Steve to Peter. Peter is, of course, weakened by the parasite, so he's like really Peter Parker level strength. So Lombard's like, "Hey, I hope my handshake doesn't crush your hand." And Peter's like, "What an asshole." And Lombard, by the way, was regaling this poor woman with stories about his football prowess from high school.
Oh, God.
And she's like falling for it. Which
High
I find,
school?
Yeah.
He didn't even play in college.
I'm sure he did, but it's just like, we know it's high school. So he's going on, and then, he goes back to it. The girl is, of course, a dimwit because she thinks he's talking about baseball. And Jimmy, this is the part where he's like,
Thanks,
he's
Jim.
like, "Lombard's kind of an asshole." And he goes, "He reminds me of a guy named Flash Thompson, but even fucking Flash Thompson grew out of that phase."
Nice.
So then they go into the behind the scenes newsroom, like where they're like got their cameras set up and everything. And Lana Lang works for GBS, of course. Also,
How
Superman's-
awkward
Yeah, it is awkward.
for Clark.
Yeah, Clark doesn't let it be too awkward. So
Clark
Lana,
doesn't think about it. He's just like, what?
yeah, what? So Lana and Lois are working together, albeit on two different
That's
arms.
awkward.
That's very awkward. And so, Jimmy introduces the ladies to Peter, and he's like, "Hubba hubba, what's up? I have a thing for redheads. Lana, what's going on?" Immediately, he's like, "Fuck yes." So Peter is introduced to Perry White. Peter develops his film, I guess, in the dark room at the Daily Planet. He's like, "Fuck Jameson. I'm going to sell my pictures of Superman fighting the Hulk to Perry White."
Oh.
And Perry White's like, I'm gonna give you $500 for these photos.
Whoa.
Wow.
Peter's like, that is 5 times the amount.
Oh my
J. Jonah Jameson,
Jonah!
I'm in.
Yeah, I am moving to Metropolis.
I am moving to fucking Metropolis. The police are nice to the superheroes, and the newspaper publishers pay a fair living wage. I'm in. But why do I feel guilty? Why do I feel like I'm a traitor? And I'm like, because you have a notorious and pathological guilt complex, Peter. That's why.
Because anything that's good, you treat as
You
bad.
distrust.
Yeah.
You don't trust joy. Now go to the nearest therapist's office. Then move Aunt May here. So they leave, and
No, she'll end up getting married to Perry White.
oh no,
Oh.
Perry has a wife.
I know.
But
For now.
for now,
Until
you
May
meet
shows up
May.
Yeah.
with those wheat cakes.
that's right. Just gonna fatten him up. So Peter leaves, and Perry thinks to himself about how he seems shy, but has like a secret strength within him, much like Clark Kent. Okay, whatever. So Jimmy's like buttering up Peter Parker, and for no other reason than I assume because Jimmy Olsen's just a nice guy.
Right.
But
Like,
he's
I don't
like-
have a lot of friends.
That's really what it is.
Oh.
It's
tell-
like Clark, and he's always leaving in the middle of conversations.
He is the worst friend I have, and the best friend.
Yeah.
But he's like, he's like, dude, you could come here, you could work here, you could live here, it'd be great. We'll be roommates or whatever.
Wow.
You know, like,
Oh
it's-
my God. Whoa.
Oh, okay, there, Olsen. Why don't you dial it back a little there, Olsen? And he goes, well,
Just so lovely.
so Peter's like, I'll stay here for a little while. I'm staying in a hotel. Like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Might as well pretend to live here and see what it's like. So Clark is like, I'm going to take a leave of absence from working here.
Oh.
And his boss is like, fuck you, you son of a bitch. What are you doing? And he goes, well, the deals of my contract dictate that I am allowed to do this at any point without provocation.
Oh.
And the guy's
What
like,
the hell kind of contract is that?
Yeah, and-
Who would state that?
because Clark Kent's a Pulitzer Prize winning author. Like,
Right.
they wanted
He
his
could
ass
write his own
on-
ticket.
Well, is
Yeah.
it Lois?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like we have Lois. Lois isn't
Hey,
that
she doesn't
unhappy.
need to take a break.
And she doesn't fucking leave all the time. So she just fall out of the occasional window or
Yeah,
evil
She
doctor's
has the same
lair.
clause. She never takes it. We thought it would be fine.
Right, yeah,
She takes it all the time. It's a disaster.
Yeah, so he's like, I'm leaving, and the guy's like, I can't fire you.
Damn it.
I am going to make your life a living hell when you get back.
You'll pay for this.
Literally
Clark.
that. Just like and like, wow,
Okay.
what a prescient book, because that's what it's like to be an employee today.
Yeah. Oh,
I can't legally fuck you.
Right?
But I can.
But I promise you I will.
Ruin your life.
Exactly. Like,
Hey, did you take the thing you're legally supposed to be allowed to have?
yeah.
How dare you?
How dare you do that?
How dare
Let me
you?
use tactics to make you feel bad about that. He follows Clark into the coat room or whatever,
Oh.
and he's gone. He's like, fuck me, what the
How did he
hell?
get out of that coat room? That's weird.
So Superman like flies by, and he's just like, okay, so I know that the Hulk is being led by somebody.
Yeah. If only I
I'm
hadn't
follow-
destroyed that transmitter.
Oh, he doesn't care. No. He immediately is just like, well, like maybe the Hulk is in some, like his rampage is in some way connected to the jailbreak of the Parasite, which I am aware of off panel.
Oh.
What?
What?
But you can see
I mean, I
as he's
guess
flying by, like
he
other
heard
people,
somebody-
he's hearing
yeah.
everyone talking
Yeah.
right here, and that's, I guess, enough.
Yep.
You could tell Jim Shooter never wrote for Superman. He's like, I don't know, I find him fucking stupid and boring. I don't care. It's like somebody who just doesn't like Superman writing for Superman.
Yeah.
So,
So it's like Brian Azzarello. Who could have engineered the device that targeted the Hulk? Obviously, it's Lex Luthor, but he's in jail right now, so the other obvious choice is Doctor Doom.
it could be any
What?
number of
It needs to be a super genius.
It could be
It needs to be
any...
a super genius, and even though I'm merged with the Marvel Universe and there's no shortage of them here or there,
It could
I'm
be
gonna immediately
any
default to Dr. Doom.
literal
What about a
number of
rogue
characters.
scientist at Star Labs?
Nope.
What about like the toy maker? What about?
what about anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Jeez.
What if somebody? What if
What about
somebody?
Doc Ock?
Yeah.
Right.
What if someone stole something from Reed Richards?
Yeah.
Or the Mad Thinker, or any number of characters from the Intelligentsia. No, it's Doctor Doom. So he goes to the Latvian embassy, and he is greeted like a welcomed guest. The lowly butler offers to take his cape, and he's looking at like the knights of armor suits, and he looks through them and notices that like they're all robots, and he's like, wow, like Doctor Doom is really smart and technologically capable. Like, holy shit.
Or he has someone who is. Like, you don't. I mean, we all
Right.
know he is.
He
but
knows
like,
no, he thinks to himself like, shit.
Okay.
Like, Doctor Doom must be pretty
He must have built these himself.
right. Doctor Doom is
I
sitting.
know his.
Yeah, I know his type.
Yeah.
So Doctor Doom's sitting in like a big velour chair, and he's like, "What a historic meeting! You meeting me."
How nice for you.
Yeah.
What an
This'll be
honor
a
you must feel.
Red letter day for you.
That's right. And today it's Tuesday for me. But he says, but Superman is like, yeah, I want answers. Like, you tell me what's going on here, man. I know you're up to something big. And Doom's like, that's true. I'm always up to something big. I'm a big
Doom.
deal.
Yeah.
All right, big deal.
I'm always scheming.
That's right. And so, he's like, but you know what's interesting about you is that you're like infinitely powerful and could solve all the world's problems, but don't. Like me. So you're actually, you and I are basically the same character.
Yeah. You're the world's greatest supervillain.
That!
Wow.
It's like, he doesn't call him a supervillain, he's just
Right.
like, he's like, I actively try to destroy the world, and you passively do it by not doing anything.
We're not so different, you and I.
Yeah, but he also does, but in a less like mustache twirling way, more of like you're a big fucking stupid loser, Superman. Like, why don't you just do anything about it?
I don't even know what it is you're doing. At least I have like a plan.
Right, I have a plan.
What are you
You're
doing?
just screwing around the cape. And Superman's like, nuts! So he goes, dude, Doom, fuck you. And Doom's like, oh, fuck you.
Oh, yeah?
So he pushes the button, and Superman is just like enveloped in kryptonite, and he's like, yeah, that's right. Also, I'm not like completely, pantsed.
Right, I knew you'd show up.
By a small rock. How about that? I don't have like a weakness. My weakness is like the things that are weak for you, regular people.
Like human
like
weaknesses.
bullets and fire
Yeah.
and stuff. But I have a suit for that. You gotta fucking
You should
rock.
get yourself a anti-kryptonite suit.
Yeah. He's like, I should make this into a sword and stab you with it.
You know this stuff is like everywhere.
For some
People get
reason.
it all the time.
People get it all the time. Why
and
didn't you do this
you
with
take
it?
no measures to protect yourself
Don't
from
you
it.
see me? I'm wearing a fucking Dr. Doom costume. Like, I'm clearly a villain. So, Superman notices that, like, the floor is lead-lined because, like, Doom didn't want Superman, like, looking at his shit. So, right before Superman loses all of his strength, he digs his fingers into the ground and he rolls himself up like a fruit roll-up with the floor. And then spins like a centrifuge, melting the lead onto his body to make a Superman.
Thus suffocating himself.
He doesn't need to breathe. He's pre-crisis Superman. He can push the sun out of orbit. So he is enveloped in like a lead suit where he smashes the kryptonite like chamber thingy, takes the rock and throws it into the sun from his standing position.
Wouldn't the lead harden?
Yeah, it did, but he's Superman. He can move it around.
Wouldn't it crack? It's not.
He only needs to do it for a few seconds.
It
Yeah,
doesn't.
he heated up a little bit so it'd be malleable.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what he
Yeah.
did?
Look at it. It looks pretty malleable to me.
Yeah. He
no.
rolled so fast.
But then he
Oh.
super
He rolled
cooled it
so
because then he
fast.
smashes it off.
yeah, then he had
himself.
to super cool it so he could smash it. Yeah.
But,
did all that.
So he
He's
smashes it
Superman.
and he's like, okay, Doom, I'm going to peel your armor off your fucking face. And Doom's like, how could you? Because I'm on Latverian soil. You can't do anything to me because I've got diplomatic immunity.
Diplomatic community.
And,
yeah.
and Superman's like, fuck,
That's awesome.
nuts.
Nuts.
Wait a minute. You don't care about laws?
No, I do.
You like grab Lex. You break into Lex Luthor's like house
Yeah,
and
he's
grab
an
him all
American
the
citizen.
time.
I don't take
yeah, but
I
that's
don't
still
topple dictators.
That's still breaking and entering.
But no, Doom makes the point of saying,
Yeah.
aren't you sworn to uphold the laws of men? Didn't I just illustrate that earlier by saying like you could solve all the problems, but then you'd be like a dictator like me, right? But you care about these laws. Well, if you do, you can't pick and choose those laws. And the laws of your land say that I'm a fucking monarch and you can't touch me. And Superman's like,
Nuts.
all right, I'm leaving for now. And Doom's like, yeah, bye. You go. Go, Superman. Oh no. And then Parasite comes out from like a corner and he's like, oh man, if only I was nearby enough to have wirelessly gotten Superman's powers. But anyway, what are we doing, Doom? Like what is this all about? And Doom's like, shut the fuck up, Parasite.
You're lucky to be in this book.
You're lucky to
Speak
be in
when
the book.
spoken to.
That's basically it. Parasite's like, nuts.
Nuts.
So Clark Kent goes to New York City, where he goes to the Daily Bugle, and he meets with J. Jonah Jameson
What?
to work for the Daily Bugle.
Why?
Because in this crossover, we're going to have Superman and Spider-Man switch places in each other's respective cities, but only in their civilian
Wouldn't
identity.
that breach his contract?
What contract? The contract that says I can do whatever I want at any time?
That's you can't. Usually you can't work for another company.
No, I'm freelance. I'm not technically working for them.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
So he goes to Jameson. Jameson's like, "Oh, hey, all right, Kent. Like I've seen your work. You're pretty good."
How do you feel about Spider-Man?
Right.
Menace or hero?
His mask. He should.
Damn.
Yeah.
I can't speak to either Menace or Hero, but he is ineffectual, especially when Superman shows up.
Good enough.
Sounds like you said
Fired.
menace to me.
Yeah, that's close enough to menace for me. So Clark's now part of the family. He's in. And Glory Grant, who's working there, is just like, he's a dish. I'm gonna ask him out. And before she can, he's already flown out a window. Because he meets Robbie. And Robbie's like, hey, Kent, nice job. Like, okay, welcome to the family. And he's like, oh, no, I have to poop. I have to go. Like, he just, oh, no, I got to leave. I'm feeling faint. And he runs away.
You got here like 3 minutes ago. What? We just hired you.
Yeah, they're like,
You're
where
already
the
leaving?
fuck is he going? All right, well, you know what? We put up with Parker doing that all the time.
True.
So he leaves and he becomes Superman because a jet is falling out of the sky.
Oh, no.
So he saves the plane.
It's a good thing Superman happened to be here and not Spider-Man, who couldn't do shit about it.
Because he flies up there and the citizenry below go, look, it's Thor. So, Superman saves the plane and he lands it on like a building roof, which he absolutely should not have done.
Oh my God.
I guess.
How about just take it to the airport?
Wouldn't that just collapse the roof?
I wish that like this was more of like a fun Marvel comic where like the Fantastic Four show up and go like, what an asshole, and then use like a shrinking ray and like bring it in okay, well anyway, sorry for that guy. Anyway. So then Superman encounters some like bank robbers and he beats them, and it's just, I guess it's Jim Shooter being like, if Superman lived here, it'd be pretty lame. And I guess that's true because here's the thing, in the early 80s, DC was on the chopping block and available for purchase by Marvel, and Shooter chose not to buy it because he didn't regard them. He was like, if DC is up for sale, then the characters must not be worth a damn. So he said no. And I guess this is his opinion. Because he's like, if we publish DC Comics, what would they look like? Oh no. Plane, Superman caught it. Oh no, bank robber, Superman stopped him. And then before Green whatever shows up and does whatever the fuck he does, I don't know.
Or that fish guy.
Or Fish Boy. Not like fucking our fish guy who's way cooler.
And a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Superman, like, he defeats these people and, you know, the cops are like, okay.
Thank
He
you.
goes, here you go, officer. And the cop goes, huh? Like, what the fuck? So,
Hey, wait, you're under arrest.
while that's happening, Superman does this all in 5 minutes. Because Clark goes into a room, like, oh, I gotta go. And he goes into a room and he locks the door. And the staff at Daily Bugle go, no. And so Jameson's like, hey, Kent, get the fuck out here. And so he's been banging on the door for 5 whole minutes. And so Clark comes out, he's like, yes, Mr. Jameson? He goes, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm banging and screaming at the door for 5 minutes. The room's only got like a couch in it. What the fuck were you doing in there? And he goes, well, I had to make a call because I got a hot tip about this like airplane and Superman and all this stuff. And he's like, okay.
All right.
Bye.
Have the story on my desk by 5, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. So Superman leaves and more shit. A runaway train. It's going to hit a school bus. Superman saves the day.
Oh my God. What are we doing? This book is going off the friggin' rails.
Yes.
What is happening?
Excuse me, it's not going off the rails. We're moving the bus off the rails.
Yeah, Superman saved the day.
Kept it on the rails.
The train is on the rails.
So he does this, and Robbie's like, what are we going to do about all this Superman coverage? You hate superheroes. And Jameson's like, that's a good point. All right, tomorrow's headline will say, New York City welcomes a real hero. Man, I hate saying that, though.
Okay, how about we go with Superman, hero or menace?
Robbie's like, you're
Brilliant,
a true artist. So Superman's like, all right, well, I did that. Now I'm going to go to Latveria because, you know, normally I don't go to other countries and interfere with their business like Doom said.
Right.
But Doom also said in a douchey speech earlier in the book, he was like, you can come to my country anytime. You're welcome at any point. So, well, he said I was welcome at any time, so I guess I'll come now.
How do embassies work? If there's an embassy here, is there an equivalent embassy?
Right, do we have an American embassy in Latveria?
I would think there would be an American embassy in
We do have one.
Latveria, yes.
He doesn't go to it.
It would be very strange if you had their embassy on your property
Yeah.
and
Right,
they
but
didn't
we
have
don't.
one of
But,
yours.
like-
That would be strange.
Yes. I don't know if America has one in Wakanda, though. So, but I think America's happy to have a Wakandan embassy.
They're like, please share.
Yeah. So Superman's flying around Latveria and he's just like looking into shit because he can't find his asshole from his elbow. He's just like, I don't know, whatever. So he's flying around.
Is Spider-Man going to show back up in this book?
Yes.
Okay. Is it going to be at the end?
Yes.
Well, he got a lot at the beginning.
Yeah,
so
he
now,
got a lot. He front loaded the book.
Yeah.
He did look like a dumbass.
He didn't really do
don't worry, he's
anything.
gonna
That was
continue to
mostly
do
Peter
that.
Parker.
Yes, that's true.
There hasn't been a whole lot of Spider-Man in our Spider-Man
Well,
Superman
if you get
crossover.
bored, you always look at the cover and imagine a story that has that happen in it. So Superman's like flying around Latveria, and
Is he just looking for evidence?
Yes.
Just what's going on?
yes,
Why don't you use your vision?
he does. He uses his vision. No, he can't. Because,
Everything
like,
in Latveria is lead.
No, this time
blind.
the Latverians are using a particle beam that shields all their shit.
Oh.
Okay.
Because they were prepared for Superman's arrival, because
Right.
Doom like called ahead.
Yeah.
So Superman notices that like there's like a construction site that looks eerily similar to the construction sites from the earlier in the book, and he's like, what is this? Like, what's up with this weird like? Because it looks like they're building a skyscraper in the middle. It's like this Germanic village.
Right.
And it's like really weirdly
like
placed.
old and
yeah.
small.
And it's out of place.
Yeah.
Why would it do that? So then he goes back to Manhattan, where he goes to the police. He goes to the police station, and he's like, "Hey," and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "I want to look into your evidence locker." And they're like, "Absolutely not." And he goes, "All right, well, I'm going to look anyway."
I could just look with my X-ray vision.
Literally,
I'm looking right now.
He goes, "Hey, let me into your evidence locker. We'll look at some shit." And they're like, "No." And he goes, "Well, I'll just look over there." Okay, well, I'm looking at it now.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, cool. And just for good measure, I'm going to draw what I see.
Does this look right? Is this what's in there?
Yeah, and also I'm going to write down a particular sequence because remember earlier in the book when Spider-Man beat those random people and they had like seemingly experimental laser weapons.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's because Doom sold those in order to disrupt the gang situation in New York. He was just fucking around. But like he sold them to one group that sold them to another group that ended up on the streets. And those are Doom weapons that Doom wanted to have collected because Doom sent the cops to Spider-Man's fight with those guys in the first place to scare Spider-Man away because he was aware that Spider-Man has like a spider sense and he didn't want Spider-Man sniffing too closely at the construction site itself because it's all part of Dr. Doom's nefarious schemes. And those guns are too because Superman explains to them that the guns are not meant to be used ever again except in that one instance, and that if they're ever handled again, they will explode and kill whoever's using them. So you have to disarm them in this particular sequence that I wrote down, goodbye. So when you said the book was going off the rails earlier,
It's like,
you were only 2 pages behind.
what the hell just happened?
Yes.
I don't even know what you just said.
Right.
I was trying to focus on it, and like
The guns from earlier were picked up by the police,
Yeah.
and they're part of Doom's plot.
right, which
And
also
Superman-
involves the construction.
Right,
site.
and Superman noticed a construction site that looked like the construction site where the guns originally were in New York, in
Right.
Latveria.
But he wasn't there.
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
But there is one that's just like it in Metropolis,
Oh,
which
also
we
in
also
Metropolis.
saw.
Oh, okay.
There wasn't much. What?
So there's
Yeah.
3 construction sites.
There's 3 construction sites. They're all the same. They're all owned by Doom, and Doom doesn't want anyone looking too closely at any of them.
Okay.
But Superman did already, and also those guns will blow
So
up.
he leaves
Also, the guns will blow
Latveria
up if you
Yeah.
touch
to
them.
He
go
left-
back to New York
Yes,
to tell him about the guns.
that's right.
To give him the sequence
Uh-huh.
so they don't blow up.
That's right.
Because was the blowing up part of Doom's plan too?
Sure.
Or was he just like, I don't care?
It's a
Just
little
so
bit of both.
you couldn't use them again, I guess.
Yes, that. Oh, also
If the
fuck
police ever
police.
got them, then
Yeah.
they would just blow up.
That's right.
There's nothing to do with my plan. I just wanted to kill some police.
No. So then Parasite's like, hey, Doom, what are we doing? And Doom's like, nah, let me explain to
I'm
you.
glad
like,
you asked. This
Yes.
time, before I wasn't going to say anything, but this time I'll
because
explain
you
it to
broached
you.
the subject, I guess I will.
Because we're at this part of the book. It's now time for me to
Yes.
tell you.
Yeah. So
I mean,
he explains that he's captured the Incredible Hulk. Hulk's already in a tube in Dr. Doom's nefarious
why
lair.
is he the Hulk? Wouldn't he be Banner?
He was Banner originally, and Superman had Banner sent to Star Labs for safekeeping.
Oh.
And Doom was like, well, it's easy enough
sell him.
to just get him from there. I sent
Right.
some people to kick the shit out of those Star Lab people and force Hulk to Hulk out and then bring him here. And
Wouldn't it be easier to capture him as Banner?
well, he does.
Okay.
He needs him as Hulk.
Yes. And
he
he has a
probably figured-
second tube.
Oh no, for Superman.
No.
For Spider-Man?
No.
For
Parasite?
Parasite?
No! He has a
For
second
himself.
tube! And he's like, and
Is he gonna make
what's
his
the
own
second?
Hulk?
No! He has a second tube. Parasite's like, what's the second tube for? He's like, oh, you'll see. And I'm like, I remember reading this
I just gave all the reasons what it could be for.
I remember reading this book years ago, and actually my first copy of this is in Italian because when I was a small child, my parents took me to Italy.
To Italia?
Yeah, to Italia, which is
That's what
Italian
they
for
say,
Italy.
yeah.
Oh,
But,
really?
yeah.
Oh.
But
I speak Italian.
there you have it. See. But, you know, I couldn't care less about anything that happened in Italy, so I was reading fucking Spider-Man comics in Italian. And I remember being like, what the fuck is happening? Not just because it was in Italian, but because this book is incomprehensible in English. So anyway, he's like, yeah, I gotta get one more person in this tube. And Parasite's like, who? And he's like, I'm not telling you. And he was, what? Don't treat me like I'm just some second-rate Superman villain. He's like, but that's what you are. And he's like, oh, how dare you? And dude's
I'm
like,
Superman's deadliest enemy.
that's right. Didn't you hear my soliloquy while I was dying on a rock? Like an old lizard?
I recorded it.
Yeah.
I had it transcribed. Here you go.
Here you go. What the fuck is this? So Doom's like, fuck you, and he blasts him.
Oh.
And Parasite's like, ow!
Nuts!
Hey.
How come I couldn't siphon your energy? And Doom's like, because my armor is proof against you.
Yeah.
Why isn't he just a Doombot?
It's an
They
anti-everything
don't-
suit.
because Shooter wants this to have stakes. It's real Doom in this.
Well,
it could be real
Superman
Doom.
would have known it was a Doombot. He would have looked.
Well, yeah, but it could be, he could use a Doombot while dealing with Parasite just to be
Yes.
sure.
Which is a
yeah,
way better
true.
plan. Yeah, absolutely, because Doom shouldn't
good
debase
idea.
himself to deal with Parasite.
He's like, you're Parasite. I don't care about you. You're garbage.
So Perry's like, okay, well, you got some talent, Pete, but you know, you gotta work harder if you want to work at the Daily Planet. Like your shot composition sucks.
It's almost like you just
Set the camera down and
It's
then
like you stuck it to a wall and just let things happen in front of you.
yeah.
It's almost like you have no photography training at all.
Well, you know, I'm trying to get ahead,
I'm sorry. There's just no way we can keep you.
What?
but I don't really even work here,
That's what makes this so difficult.
and it works perfectly for this. So he goes, well, I'm leaving, and so he leaves the room, and he's like, wow, Perry White is way nicer, but just as hard as J. Jonah Jameson. But actually, I kind of miss the abuse.
Yeah.
So what the fuck is wrong with me?
Well, if the end result is the same, the
Then
guy
I
might as well be
just
an
go
asshole.
home.
Yeah, but you're making more money.
you make more money.
That's true.
And also, that's not how you should feel.
Right. That's
No,
the
no.
wrong reaction.
Yeah.
So then Peter's like, all right, well, you know what? I think the problem is I'm just lonely. Hey, Lana, what's up? Maybe we could go out, like, for a drink?
She's like, you're a geek and I hate you.
Yes.
Oh, really?
And she leaves.
Oh.
And he goes, wow, that sucked.
He's
Yeah.
like, do you know in where I come from, there's a supermodel,
And I treat her like shit.
but she like really likes me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I dated Clark Kent, and he is a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist.
And I'm Lana Lang, so I know he's Superman.
Okay, but like,
And you're a crappy photographer?
and I am just telling you that an actual model,
Right. True. Yeah.
redheaded.
sure.
Yeah, Tiffany is right.
Oh, yeah, your girlfriend from Canada?
Lombard has been watching the whole thing, and he goes, "Lol, you suck. Listen, buddy." And he slaps him on the back, and Peter's spider sense goes off, and he's like, "What? What is that for? He's a jerk. Why would my spider sense bother me for that?" And so he walks away. Lombard had time to make a sign that he put on Peter's back that said, "I struck out with Lana Lang." Peter leaves. He's like, well, maybe I'll go be Spider-Man and that'll make me feel better. So he takes off his jacket. He's like, son of a bitch! Nuts! So he's like, fuck that guy. So he dresses as Spider-Man. He goes outside and he goes back and goes, I haven't done this in years. And he webs Lombard's chair. So Lombard sits in his easy chair in his office and he's stuck to it. He's like, eat that, you piece of shit.
What the hell? Where does this webbing come from?
It's literally that.
This is a very strange thing. I'm going to report this to the police.
Yep.
They're going to investigate. Well, I guess the webbing will dissolve, so there won't be any
yes, well,
evidence.
but it dissolves in an hour, but Lombard's broadcasts in 45 minutes.
Ah.
So Spider-Man
Nice.
goes to his hotel, which sucks and is very cheap, and the phone rings. He goes, "The phone! Maybe it's Mary Jane." Like, he is so horny at this point. Because he's like, I struck out with Lana Lang, but I'm riled up
Struck out with Cindy.
from making Lombard eat shit.
Yep.
He goes, maybe it's Mary Jane or Deb Whitman, like anybody. I'm so on board. Oh, hi, Aunt May. Great. No, I'm not sad, it's you. Yes, I'll dress warmly. Okay. And then he leaves. And so there's a shootout between a criminal and a couple of cops. So Spider-Man drops in. He's like, hey! And the cop is like, whoa! And he falls off the side of the building.
Duh!
And
Why?
He was so scared.
He's just so distracted.
By
so
Spider-Man.
he catches himself before he falls. And then the other cop's like, you son of a bitch! So then they all start shooting at Spider-Man. He's
Oh
like,
my God.
oh my God!
It's like, I'm gonna tell every cop in Metropolis
That you're no
Spider-Man's
good!
That you're a menace!
No,
Yeah. The criminal runs away from them because they're distracted, and a police chopper runs by and drops a net on him.
Nice.
And then the chopper starts chasing after Spider-Man. 'Cause
Yeah.
He's a bad
With the guy in the net,
Yeah.
presumably just spinning
Just-
around.
Fuck him, he's a lawbreaker. So he's like, God, I thought things were different here.
Amazing.
What a goddamn laugh.
No, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, you are the worst.
Not for you.
Right? Like, what the fuck?
What is this book? What is
God damn it.
Spider-Man gonna do anything?
So then he swings by the construction site in Metropolis. He's like, this looks a lot like that construction site in New York. What the hell? And my spider
It's a
sense
good place
going
to
off.
hide from that police helicopter that's chasing him.
Well, his spider sense goes off. So he's like, oh, I'll check it out. So it starts to go off a little bit more by this like steel plate that serves no purpose. And he's like, what the fuck? So he lifts it up and he goes inside and he realizes he's in a subterranean lair. And they're all connected by Doom. And Doom...
Even the one in Latveria?
Oh, yes. And you'll
It
see
goes
why.
all the way like across the ocean.
Yes. So...
Oh my God.
So Spider-Man is like running around and he notices that like a bunch of these like guards have been dispatched. And he's like, holy shit, like somebody down here beat the crap out of some guards. And it's Wonder fucking Woman.
What?
That's right, Wonder Woman's here.
Why?
Because she
What?
caught wind of this plan. And she is now in the book.
Oh, she's the Hulk of the book.
She's the Hulk of the book.
She's the extra character.
She's who the tube is for. Doom lured Wonder Woman here.
Is he going to mate them?
No, he's gonna siphon their strength and use it for his nefarious schemes.
Why wouldn't he siphon
What?
Superman's strength?
Because Parasite has been already established as he can't siphon Superman's strength without like blowing up.
Oh, he's using Parasite to suck energy from
Yes.
other people to then.
To then power another scheme he has going.
Okay.
So
All right.
Doom is
Fair
like,
enough.
sweet, Wonder Woman's here. Oh shit, Spider-Man's here. Nuts. So Wonder Woman sees Spider-Man and he's like, hamina hamina, what a hottie.
Oh boy,
Oh
he's gonna
my
get
God.
to strike out another time in
Yes,
this
he
book.
is. So he's like, oh my God, like she is so hot. And then Doom goes, I've got it. So he goes to the intercom and he goes, nicely done, Spider-Man. You brought Wonder Woman right into my clutches. And Wonder Woman's like, oh, he's a bad guy. So she picks up a big piece of machinery and throws it at Spider-Man. He's
She
like,
doesn't know who he is?
no, she's her. No, here's the thing. Wonder Woman at this point in the 80s lives in New York City.
What?
Oh, so she's reading all of Jameis newspapers.
She's
about him
reading all
being
this
a menace.
anti-Spider-Man propaganda, so she is already poisoned against him. So she's like, I heard
Wow.
about you, and in fact, I even thought about fighting you once or twice, but didn't, conveniently.
So she's just a rube.
Yeah, she's a
She just
complete idiot.
believes everything she reads in the paper. One specific paper.
Yeah. Wonder Woman's like, I'll fight you, Spider-Man. And he's like, I'm not a bad guy. Stop attacking me. And she's like, well, my lasso of truth compels you to tell the truth, so I'll just tie you up in that. You shouldn't have any problem with that if you're not a bad guy. And he's like, I don't want to get tied up, not at least until after the first date. And I'm like, what?
What a callback to her origins, I guess.
Uh-huh.
That's amazing.
Or her creation.
She makes a good point. And he's like, fuck that. I'm not getting tied up in
Just
your
hold
lasso.
it.
No, I'm not going to do that
No.
either. So instead,
No, because
Spider-Man...
you told me to.
Yeah. So Spider-Man...
I'm not gonna have any woman telling me what
Yeah.
to do.
Damn
You just need to
Skip.
Not
trust
in a
me.
Jim
Just gotta
Shooter
trust me.
book.
So he kills the breakers on the room somehow, kills the lights, and he's like, you can't see in the dark, and I have a spider sense. But watch me. I'm not kicking your ass right now. That shows you I'm a good guy. And she's like, I guess. And then Doom's guards start shooting at Wonder Woman. And then they just shoot her a lot, and Spider-Man jumps out of the way, and then they recover her and take her away. And he's like, ah, nuts.
Oh, nuts. I helped defeat Wonder Woman.
That's it. And then they get... so they're...
And Spider-Man has a moment. Do I suck?
Am I terrible
am
at this?
I an asshole?
Yes.
Am I?
He is thinking
not?
those things, and yes, he is absolutely 100% a pure grade A All-American dipshit.
Like-
so,
Would Uncle Ben be upset?
right,
Yeah.
he'd be disappointed in you, to say the least. So the guards take Wonder Woman, and they get her into a, like, monorail that they have, like
Yeah.
a tunnel system.
Sure, yeah. To connect
Because you
the-
can't walk to
connect the rooms.
Latveria from.
Yeah,
That's
or
right.
to New York.
Metropolis.
Or
Metropolis, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to at least take a bus, like Peter did.
Yeah.
So the guards loads Wonder Woman in, and one of them is like, man, she's hot. I can't believe we're gonna send her to her doom. That's not fair. And like, hey, shut up. This is the whole Dr. Doom's thing. Don't you understand? Every room is wired for sound. Like, you should just talk about how impressive it is that there's like there's a system of tubes and fucking conveyances like this monorail. Like, just talk about that. And I'm like, what? Why did you do that? So then Spider-Man gets on it and he follows along, and so they cart Wonder Woman along, and Parasite has nothing to do. So he's just kind of like dicking around the room.
Yeah, just
you know?
like,
Yeah, so he sees
you
her
got
and,
Wonder Woman
and he
there?
goes, oh, she's hot. Give her to me. You know what? Fuck Doom's plans. Now, Doom says that he wants Wonder Woman to be with me. I want to fuck Wonder Woman. And they're like,
oh my God.
and they're like, no. Doom says no. And then he attacks them. And they're like, dude, knock it up. And then Doom shows up and goes, what is fucking going on? And Parasite's like, it's not fair. And Doom goes, you want to bang Wonder Woman? Is that what this is all about? And he goes, I mean, you know, not necessarily all the time. Just, she's hot. Listen, I'm gross under this, okay? You know what we didn't do yet? We didn't give Parasite's pre-crisis origin. And Doom's like, well then, please, by all means.
Enlighten me.
And I'll read the transcript afterwards, perhaps. So Parasite proceeds to explain, and I love this origin, because
Does it involve the worst map of the world I've ever seen?
We're going to talk about that map in a minute. But for now, let's focus on the fact that Parasite is a dumbass. He's like, he was a flunky who worked in like a nuclear plant. And he had heard somewhere, like what was considered to be like radioactive waste materials, like in these drums, that sometimes evil organizations would use them as fronts to like funnel money through them. So he opened one up and it was full of radioactive materials. And it horribly burned him. And it made him into the Parasite. He's just like, I heard that sometimes there's payroll inside these radioactive waste containers. Oh no! Who would have thought that these waste containers would be full of radioactive waste?
Oh man.
So of course he thinks he's Superman's deadliest enemy.
my
He's a
God.
moron.
He's a complete idiot.
Complete idiot.
But Doom's like, wow, you burned yourself through your hubris too. You know what? That kind of endears you to me a little bit.
Is that hubris? I feel like that's
it's
just
stupidity.
idiocy. Yeah.
No, totally.
What made you think
That's like a
that
Darwin
one
Award
was
right
one of
there.
those?
Just that. Just
I
the
just
fact that I heard
hoped
sometime.
It was.
Maybe there's chocolate inside this lead. Nope. Just more lead. And now I have cancer. So
It's like that old Japanese game show where people would be released into a room and like some things in the room were made out of candy.
Yeah.
And they'd have to bite things.
and just break their teeth.
No, like
No,
there's
it was gross sometimes.
Yeah, like there's like I'm sure you've seen it. There's like a clip of like a guy biting a door handle. He's like, it's chocolate.
Yes. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Oh my god.
So anyway, he's like, I can't fuck Wonder Woman. I'm just gonna take her powers. I don't like. It doesn't work anymore. The only thing I lust for is more power and energy.
It doesn't work anymore.
He basically says that. And Doom's like, oh, okay.
Oh.
All right, well, let me explain to you my plan.
Okay.
And so he turns on, so he twists a ring on his finger, which you didn't see before. And it casts a holographic map of all of those construction sites he has across the world that are all connected through a series of tubes.
Oh, there's more than 3.
Somebody made the worst map for him ever,
Yeah.
and they should be fired.
Absolutely.
That is
They don't know the shape of
horrendously
anything,
Terrible.
It's John Buscema, and I'm sorry.
and it looks like a really terrible pepperoni pizza.
Yeah. Well, those are the locations where all those construction sites are.
It looks like he mixed up Antarctica.
And the North Pole.
Yeah, because he put land at the north, but
Yeah.
that should be at the and there's nothing at the
Yeah,
south.
and I know it's supposed to be South America, but it really looks like a crappy Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look how big Florida is.
here's-
It's the same size as Mexico.
This Earth has to be much bigger because it has to accommodate all the
Oh,
cities
yeah.
of DC
and
and
Africa
Marvel.
looks like it's like kind of trying to become Pangea again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Italy's still there.
Yeah. So anyway, he's like, I built all this shit and I've got all this stuff and it's all in service to a gargantuan task. And Parasite's like, that must have cost you like trillions of dollars. And he's like, yeah,
Yes.
it did. It was very expensive to do that. But I have a lot of money.
But what for?
To what end, Doom?
Because he created all these like satellite construction sites under the guise of actual like construction.
Right.
So that in unison they would be triggered to emit a radioactive wave that would render all of our fossil fuels inert.
Are you kidding? This is a money scheme?
No, it's more like a power scheme. He's not trying to, like, he's not going to create, like, doom fuel and become like an oil tycoon. No, it's that it's going to turn like gasoline and coal, all fossil fuels, into sand.
How will that help?
Into sand?
What will that do
Yes.
for him?
Also, it will also affect gunpowder too. So everyone's weapons will also stop working.
Be able to
But
use
then
that
Doom will unleash his special non-nuclear reactor, which will power the world. And
that people will have to do what he says if they want access to the reactor.
that's right.
So it's not about money per se. It's
about power.
It's about power.
Yeah.
Okay.
It needs no atomic fuel and consumes only simple matter. It's like a Mr. Fusion. It consumes matter. It casts energy, the equivalent of a small star.
So, at the end of this,
good.
Right?
are you going to destroy it or find out it doesn't work?
It does not work. It's unstable.
Okay.
That's what I need Parasite for.
Oh.
So, I mean, I feel like this is something that we should be willing to sacrifice.
Take a gamble on. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
We could
feels
there's probably an ethical way to stabilize
The
it.
Right.
needs
Doom
of
just
the
hasn't
many.
tried yet.
That's right. Yeah. Well, it involves Parasite. So, anyway, he's like, yeah. But he hasn't told him about the instability.
That is a complicated plan.
Yes.
that is a
I feel like
That is a complicated plan for this book only having 4 more pages.
what?
Jeez. I don't think he needs to turn fossil fuels into sand. I think just getting this reactor online is
Well,
gonna.
that's what I was
like,
thinking. No, it will put them out of business.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's superior.
You know
Yeah.
what though? Because
He can't trust people. He's like, no.
I was gonna say it's gonna paint a target on his back,
Right.
and Doom's like, I'm not willing to do that.
I don't want-
I
I
would
don't want-
rather just totally send the world into chaos and then come out
Right.
as a godly savior
Yeah,
of
they'll
them.
come crawling
Well,
back to
yeah,
you.
That's the
disabling the
power
weapons
trip.
is part of it.
Yeah, that is
Exactly.
straight up the power trip Doom wants.
That's very
Well,
true.
also we
It's all
know
part of his fetish.
the international conspiracy of fossil fuel companies
He's like,
will
and
team
then-
up to prevent him from
They would
providing
send
cheap
like
energy for the world.
espionage villain, the Ghost, to
Yeah.
go like fuck up his reactor.
Yeah, anyone who develops cheap free energy, as we know, is ruthlessly
is
crushed.
yes, by the fossil fuel industry.
Yeah.
He's like, and once I have my place
seen
of
that
power,
documentary?
he's like, I'll be able to get Reed Richards right where I want him in my bedroom.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Richard's
Oh my God.
Richards never comes up.
Damn it. That'd be amazing if it all was
It was
leading.
all to just crush
Yeah.
Richards.
Oh no, that's not what I was saying. He was
Yeah,
gonna
no,
do
he's
it.
gonna.
No,
well, he's gonna
but-
crush Richards another way.
We all know that he's clearly in love with him.
Crush me again, you metal man. Grind my bones to dust, you Latverian warlord. So
Reed would be like, you know what? This is why Sue and I didn't really.
click.
Yeah,
Yes, they did. They're family.
it's a whole front.
The mother of his children.
She is a beard.
So Spider-Man like leaves. He's like, all right, well, Wonder Woman's been taken, and I don't know.
He just leaves.
So he climbs out.
It's like, I gotta get Superman. This is a Superman level
He
problem.
climbs out of the Metropolis one and ends up in the Manhattan one. So he climbs out of that back where it all started, where Superman arrives.
Right, because he's
And-
investigating these things too.
Exactly. And so Superman shows up and like, oh, Spider-Man, what's going on? Because he remembers that they teamed up that one time.
He's
And-
like, you told me to go away before.
Yeah.
Why did you remember that we teamed
told
up
me to
then?
fuck
Well, you were
off.
fighting the Hulk. This is a serious situation. I needed to display my awesome power. So Spider-Man explains to Superman what's going on. Superman explains to Spider-Man what's going on between panels. It just says, and
Right.
Superman's like, ah, gotcha, okay.
Okay.
And so Spider-Man's like, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. And Superman's like, here's what we're gonna do. You stay here, I'll go solve the problem. And he jumps down the hole. And Spider-Man's like, nuts! He needs me like a fish needs a bicycle.
What?
Which is to say, not at all.
That's right.
Ah.
And then he goes, wait a minute, what's my problem? I'm striking out with chicks. You know, I'm begging for punishment from J. Jonah Jameson. I'm playing second banana to Superman. This is stupid. What's wrong with me?
He is Superman.
I need to get my groove back.
Yes. Fuck this. So he jumps into the
Let me
hole.
go punch some lackeys.
Yeah.
Where's the shocker?
I'm gonna take my anger out on somebody today. So he jumps down the hole. Meanwhile, Doom's like, hey, Parasite, through my vast intellect, I've also created like this special harness that you're gonna wear that will stabilize your powers and allow you to like harness the power of Superman and won't like overload you.
Oh, Superman is part of this.
Oh yeah, well all of it. You know, it's all connected because Superman's gonna show up, and so well, you know, it's like because Hulk has a lot of energy and da da da. The idea is it's a trick. It's a double cross. It's gonna like fuck up Parasite and force him to become a siphon that he'll use to stabilize his reactor.
Right. Yeah.
So Superman shows up and you know, fucking Parasite attacks Superman. Superman's like, fuck you, I don't have to touch you to beat you, as he pushes like some machinery in his way. And then, you know, all the lackeys are firing everything. They got missiles down here, they're firing at him, and he's just like, ah ha ha, blows them out of the way, shoots with heat vision, boring, boo, who cares?
What's the big robot?
Oh, he let Superman think that he was winning by fighting his lackeys, but then unveiled a giant robot that would easily beat Superman.
A giant robot beats pre-crisis Superman.
Well, it holds him. It's just really strong. And it's, you know, Dr. Doom's really smart. And it's just giving him a run for his money. Superman always fights these guys. He doesn't just go like, I can literally push the moon out of orbit. I'll just grab this thing and then just fly into space and throw it into the sun like I threw a rock into the sun only like 10 pages before.
Right.
So, but you know, this machine is really strong, so it holds Superman down. Meanwhile, Parasite's making his way towards Superman, and then Spider-Man shows up and kicks him in the face, and Parasite's like, ha, you touched me. Now I'm Spider-Man. And so he's got like powers and strength of Spider-Man, so he's sticking to the walls, he's chasing Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's like, fuck me.
Wait,
Superman's like,
but
thanks,
his suit
Spider-Man.
touched him.
Good job.
His suit touched him. It has to be direct. It could be any kind of contact.
Any kind of
he's not
physical
like
contact.
Rogue. He's more like, because he can do it from a range as well.
Yes.
So it's
as
just like,
long as it's proximity.
yeah.
If
So if you touch someone, like you're
done.
so close that clothing
It
doesn't
might as well
matter.
be skin-to-skin contact.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah. So Spider-Man's like, oh, nuts.
Nuts!
Damn it.
But he didn't take my webbing. He doesn't have fucking web shooters on his hands, so he just starts firing
He
webs
should
everywhere.
have the luck of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'll
That's
just,
not a superpower.
I'll just let life take care of him.
Okay, you're Peter Parker now. Good luck. So he's firing webbing everywhere, and like, fucking. That's when Parasite realizes he also has precognitive abilities too. He's like, oh my god, this is amazing. He's already out Spider-Manning Spider-Man.
I should be invincible with this ability.
Right. With no webbing.
Right. All I have to do is pay attention to what's going on around me,
And
I'll
I'm
never
better
be
at this than
beaten.
you. So he's bouncing around, and he's like, oh fuck. So he jumps on the robot. He's like, okay, well, I won't deal with him. So you know what I'll do? I'll free Superman, and he'll beat the Parasite for me. So he jumps on the robot, so the robot can't see, and Superman's like, haha, you've distracted him, and now I'll easily beat the robot, and blows the robot up by punching it. So Doom reveals that when Superman was in the embassy and Doom shot him with a ray or whatever,
the kryptonite.
Yeah, he actually ended up like he covered him in like a kind of kryptonite dust that permeated his clothes, but it was like a kind of version of kryptonite that like needed another chemical reaction in order to activate the kryptonite. So it was like a latent kryptonite that was all over his clothes that didn't make him feel weak to kryptonite just yet.
It's like not fully kryptonite.
Yeah.
It just needs
So
an
he
extra
just
thing.
didn't notice that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he shoots
Well, because
him.
it wasn't kryptonite, so we didn't feel anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
But
then he shoots him with another
But it has
gas.
to be like a dust. Like he's
It's a
super
dust. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
He's very
He's just been
distracted.
so
It's a very
busy.
complicated book.
Yeah.
So you know you didn't focus on it, but then he's covered in this dust, and then it activates it. So he's like, oh, and so he's weakened and defeated, and then Spider-Man's just not paying a fucking attention. So then Parasite just touches Spider-Man, and he's out. And
Spidey, what are you doing, man? Why are you even in this book?
so Doom like has Spider-Man strung up in like a complicated wall of shackles. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman's in tube number 2 next to Hulk, and Superman is just on like an operating table and under a kind of like light,
a green light.
a green light that maintains this thing. So Superman's stuck, and like you know, Doom's just busy on some shit with some you know.
Yeah.
Like a guy.
He's just looking over here.
Yeah. And Spider-Man's like, boy, that sucks.
Man, I didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything in this book.
Nuts.
And so they're like, okay, well now Parasite, we're gonna put you in the thing, and then you'll siphon some energy, and then you will be able to fight any superheroes that are gonna show up. Because clearly we beat Superman, Wonder Woman, and Hulk, and Spider-Man. We can win we can take over everything.
Yep.
So we're gonna put this thing on him. So they're putting the thing on him, and it's been a long time. So like, Parasite's powers are starting to wane a little bit, not 100%, but a little bit. Like, let's say 50%, because that's what he says. And so they're starting to put the thing on him, and Doom's like, oh yeah, man. Once this thing goes on to you, like it's gonna fuck you up.
He's thinking that.
Yeah, because once this thing happens,
that's gonna be great.
Once this thing happens, it's gonna because I already know. I know the parasite's power so well that I know that once he gets this thing on him and he absorbs some power, it's going to overload him and turn him into a crystalline mass. It's going to literally turn like the equivalent of Parasite's coal into a diamond, and Parasite will become a crystal that he can then use to power his machine that will stabilize the reactor.
Stabilize the reactor.
Okay, that doesn't actually solve the superhero problem.
No.
No, what?
No,
how's he gonna
Doom's
beat?
arrogance is going to beat
He's
the
just like, no,
superheroes.
I'm just gonna beat them like I normally do.
Yeah. I'll shoot them with like gauntlets or fire their
I
base
have
into
plans
space.
for
I got
them.
plans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that.
Don't worry.
But Parasite doesn't know that. So Spider-Man's he's stuck up against a wall and he fires his webbing at Superman.
So Doom didn't think to restrain Spider-Man's fingers so that he couldn't
They're
fire his
already like
webs.
fired away. You know, he's already shackled against a wall.
Yeah, he could shoot webs in random directions, but he couldn't possibly direct
And
them
I
anywhere
just happen to have
useful.
them directed at Superman.
That's right.
Well, let me ask
No,
you this.
they're not, but he bends them.
Why
and
don't you just pin his whole hand down and then he can't even attempt to shoot webs?
Well, you
Or
know,
why don't you take his web shooters away from him?
right, any of those things, but he doesn't. So Spider-Man like bends his wrist just enough, and it hurts a lot, but he doesn't end up pointing it at Superman. So he coats Superman in webbing, and then pulls the webbing off, which pulls the dust off of his clothes.
Like sticky.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Wouldn't it also take his clothes?
Nope. So
Nope.
then it peels that off, but while that's happening, Parasite has just enough spider ability.
Oh, spider
To
sense.
sense
Spider
that
sense.
this thing's gonna hurt
It's
him.
gonna hurt him, and he's like, "Wait, no, don't put this on me!" And Doom's like, "Put it the fuck on!" And so they fight, and you know, so Parasite like punches Doom, and then Spider-Man and Superman free themselves, and they're good to
boy.
go.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Superman's free, and then he frees Spider-Man presumably, but you know, here we go, and we get the action of the promise of this book.
Right. There's a panel where they're both
Yeah, look, they're
taking
doing
action.
it. They're
Yeah.
doing
For
what
one
was supposed to be
panel.
happening.
Yeah.
So they're
This
free.
is everything we wanted. This one
Exactly.
panel.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So Parasite is like.
Ooh.
So Parasite's like, "Come on, Doom, we gotta fight these guys. We'll settle our differences later." And Doom's like, "That asshole has no idea that there will be no later, because this device he's built. The reason why we don't like have this device is because if it overloads, which it's going to now,
Yeah.
it will destroy the planet."
Superman figures this out?
No, Doom knows this.
Oh, Doom knows
It's like,
that. Oh, okay.
fool, you've
Yes.
killed us.
By saving yourself,
Yeah.
you've doomed us all.
Yeah, by not letting me turn you into a crystal, you just killed the planet. Congratulations, asshole.
That's it.
This is your fault.
What?
Nah, this is your fault. Doom makes no mistakes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't.
Uh-huh.
Why didn't you?
Why didn't you just not do that?
Why didn't you just tell me?
Or not turn it on.
Or not turn it on?
Come
or
up with a better solution.
come
than
up with a
killing
plan
me to
that
do it.
didn't require me to be in a specific outfit at a specific time, or else the planet would die.
Yeah.
What kind of monster are you?
I am Doom.
And Doom needs no one except for you to be a crystal.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Put it on.
Put it on. Come on.
Come on.
It's already too late.
Amazing.
It's already too late.
Don't you
It's
want
already
me to-
overloading.
Oh.
Congratulations. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for killing everybody. Good job.
Spider-Man's swinging around. Parasite's like, "I'll touch you again." And Spider-Man's like, "Fat chance of that." And then Superman just grabs Doom.
Yeah.
And Doom's like, "You fool! I have to leave. I have to leave the planet. Get off me."
Where are you going?
So
Where are you
you'll
going?
see.
A spaceship?
So, you'll see. So Superman grabs one of Doom's gauntlets. He says, "Give me that," and he puts it on. And Doom's like, "Okay, bye." So Doom runs away, and he's
What?
like, "I'm assuming that Doom has created a kind of like non-permeable thing over his outfit to
Right.
protect himself from the parasite.
Right.
So now I can punch the shit out of Parasite, which he does. So
Nice.
Parasite's out.
That's amazing. He just punches him into a piece of metal that's like right next to him. Just boom.
And he goes, "Sorry, you lose again." Which is 100% what Superman would say. And so Spider-Man's like, "Hey, the reactor looks like it's gonna kablooey." So Superman goes into the reactor. He's
No
like,
problem.
"Okay."
I've got a sun for that.
Yep. It's gonna throw it in the sun. No, it's like it's bigger than it looks.
Ah.
So he dives into the ground. He's like, "You figure out how to turn it off. I'll keep it stable using my own body."
It looks like he just face planted. Like it
Ugh.
looks.
So Superman dives to the ground, and Spider-Man's like, "What? No, you don't understand. I've been losing the whole time in this book. I can't just turn it off."
Aren't you Peter Parker, like scientist?
That's what he
No,
realizes.
but
later
I'll
in the
ruin
book.
it.
So he's like,
I'm just such a menace.
"I'm so terrible at this." So Spider-Man's like, "Oh my God, I should call the Fantastic Four or the Avengers. There's no time.
Right.
It's just me. The whole world's gonna die, and it's all my fault.
Oh Jesus!
boy.
So meanwhile, Superman is just in the reactor, just holding it steady.
It's just physical. He's just gotta physically hold
Hold it there, yeah.
I'll
What is he holding?
I'll use my strength to.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
And he's
what
like,
I
I
do.
can feel my invulnerability melting away. Like I'm literally dying in this thing. I hope Spider-Man doesn't fuck up.
I hope Spider-Man's doing something.
Good thing my buddy Spider-Man's got it under control.
That-
I have no doubt that he will
must-
solve this problem.
Die. So Doom's like, aha, my convenient rocket. I'll leave.
Yeah.
So he gets into his rocket.
Go where?
The moon.
The moon. You're gonna live on the friggin' moon.
Aren't the?
He has a base there.
Oh.
And he says, I'll find new worlds and new civilizations.
Ah.
Whatever. He says, when I get to the moon, I'll eventually use materials that I'll mine from lunar soil, refit this ship for deep space. But even that
We're gonna
is,
start a whole new tech tree on the moon.
yep, but even that is less plausible than what happens next, because he tries to use the controls and they've already been webbed up because Spider-Man noticed the rocket between panels earlier in the story.
Oh
and
my
webbed the
God.
controls.
No, fuck you. Damn it.
And Doom's like, fool, Spider-Man's killed me.
He couldn't have known that this would be my doom.
Yeah. So,
And yet,
I die. So Spider-Man just figures it out. He's like, Peter Parker's a smart guy. I'm a smart guy. I can figure this out. So he does, and he's like, okay.
like, wait a minute, it's a Unix system. I know this.
Basically that. And so he's like, he's like, wait, this control panel is like the control panel that was smashed. This must be like a redundancy control panel, so it's the same as the one that was smashed by Parasite by me earlier. So he's fucking around with it, and then he's like, oh wait, my spider sense turned off. If I turn this right, I'll turn it left, and so he does, and it like,
so he cheats.
yeah, and it turns it off. And the Superman's like, way to go. And so the two of them are like, whew, that was rough. And then Doom is like, well, I gotta go. So he leaves his rocket and he fires his boot rockets, and they break because like he didn't count his armor's circuitry to depend so much on his right gauntlet. And so he just starts running through the streets, like next to sedans, just Dr. Doom, with one gauntlet. And then Superman just flies, and he goes, oh no, he's coming. Doom is like, oh, I gotta go to base. And he lands, and he crosses the threshold of the Latvian embassy, and he's like, nah! And Superman's like, nuts!
What is it? Spider-Man should just like grab him and web him and pull him back
Yeah,
across the line.
yeah, I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
So,
I'm an outlaw anyway.
you're right, fuck it.
Yep. You
does
didn't do it,
not.
Superman, that was me.
So Spider-Man just barely manages to arrive when Superman's being read the riot act by Doom, explaining to him diplomatic immunity laws.
Right.
And he's like, nah, I'm in my base. Farewell, cretins. And then he just leaves and closes the door. Spider-Man's like, there he goes. I'll have to file some other new scheme. And Superman's like, whatever. I gotta go. I gotta deal with some shit.
What are they gonna do with these tunnels underground connecting all these secret bases?
Right? I don't know. Fill them in, use them for some intricate like channel system. I don't know. So, Superman, Clark Kent returns to his original job, and they're all happy about it for some reason. But I think because he's got the story of the century.
Oh,
You know,
he's got the Doom story?
He's got the Doom story, which he sells to them.
Clark, how did you find all this? What's your source?
A good reporter never reveals their sources. So,
Well, how do I know any of it's true?
you just have to trust me on that one.
But nobody saw anything.
Yeah.
As far as anyone knows, nothing happened. And this is complete fiction.
That's absolutely true. And he's like, and Spider-Man was also there. And Lois is like, Spider-Man's an interesting character. Is he an asshole like everybody says? And Superman's like, nah. Clark is like,
Yeah.
well, Superman told me he's pretty cool, so I guess we have to trust him. Anyway, I heard Jimmy, you and Peter Parker got into an interesting relationship, and Jimmy's like, yeah, he just left. So Peter Parker arrives back at the Daily Bugle. Gloria Grant's there to greet him. And Peter's like, I'm going to go to Jonah and try and sell some photos. And she's like, oh, no, you do not want to talk to Jonah. He hates you. He kept calling you a traitor for leaving and going to the Daily Planet and selling photos to them. And he's really pissed because Clark Kent just quit. And so don't go talk to him. And then Jonah comes out. He's like, hey, it's Peter Parker. What's going on, man? He's like, oh, don't worry about me, Jonah. I'm just leaving. And he's like, no. Like, come on. Like, stick around. Like, I need you. And he's like, because I know that I can at least count on you than that stupid asshole, slippery Clark Kent.
Oh yeah, who said I want to work for you, did nothing,
And then left.
and left.
And he's like, come on, I'll give you a glass of water. My treat. And And Peter's like, hey man, listen, like I just went to the Daily Planet and I got like a lot more money. I could use a raise. And Jonah's like, and that's the end of the book.
And then Jonah puts on his back a sign that says, I asked Jonah for a raise, and
all I
totally
got
got to
And I
nothing.
struck out.
That was the sign.
I just struck out with J. Jonah James.
And then, for seemingly no good reason whatsoever, and it's because of the nature of the time period from which this book was printed, there is an advertisement for the DC versus Marvel crossover of 1995.
Oh.
It's like, oh, that's why you did this.
It's an
ad. The whole damn thing is an ad for the upcoming DC versus Marvel crossover.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like, listen, if you like that, there's more coming.
Right.
Like-
But this is horrible.
Well, don't worry.
I'm definitely not checking out that other crossover.
No,
If it's anything
will.
like this.
You will, because the industry's in the toilet. We desperately
Right.
need this.
Yeah. That's... Oh.
Nuts! You made us listen to that. Jimmy Olsen is never the same after Peter leaves.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah. It's devastating.
Like, I thought we were friends, and then he just left.
I'll never trust anyone
And he
again.
never heard from him ever again. Because there's never another Superman, Spider-Man. Actually, maybe he did. No, you know what's actually worse? Is in the DC versus Marvel crossover, it's not even Peter Parker, it's Ben fucking Reilly.
Oh my God.
And
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Ben Reilly does end up working for the Daily Planet in the crossover. Because Perry and Jonah work together and they're acquired by the Kingpin. It's a really weird and unnecessary subplot, but like...
Interesting.
Yep.
And Jimmy's like, this guy's acting like he never even met me.
Well, that's what's so weird. Because, like, you're clearly Peter Parker. Nope, I'm Ben Reilly. You don't have to make up a fucking fake name. You don't be friends with me, just say so. But they don't remember that happened. But also, it's even more fucked up because Ben Reilly is Spider-Man in that book. He's Ben Reilly. He wears the suit,
Right.
the sensational Spider-Man suit. He's got blonde hair. He's called Ben Reilly. He's hired by the Daily Planet, right? But he's like, my pen name is Peter Parker.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, fuck you! That's not in anything!
Maybe the crisis made him forget.
Right, like
that
the cross...
He met,
Yeah.
like,
Well, oh yeah, that's right.
that Jimmy.
That's right.
Oh,
no,
that's
thank
right.
God.
That's right.
No, Jimmy will
Okay.
never have remembered
Yeah,
because
'cause it
the
didn't
crisis
happen.
will have undone it.
That means
Yeah.
Peter does, though.
Ooh.
Yeah, Peter, that's what's so fucked up about the crises, right? Except that, no, it's on another Earth.
Yeah, this is
an Earth-
actually... Yeah,
Right.
Where
Yeah.
everything happened, they just also were on the same
Well, that
planet.
means they all
Yes.
went to a crisis.
Well,
No.
no, because it stopped at the crisis.
It stopped at the crisis.
Yeah, because there's no more of these, right?
Yeah,
after
there's-
crisis.
No. Well, there are. No,
Well,
there are.
So-
the Batman Spider-Man crossovers take place on this Earth too. But in the DC versus Marvel crossover, that says that there are two separate Earths.
Oh, that's a different universe.
It's a different
than
universe.
This doesn't even happen in that universe.
that does
then.
not happen.
Correct.
So there's a different
Right.
universe.
Yes.
This is an
so in
alternate,
the
yeah.
real Marvel universe or DC universe, depending on what happened. No, because it's pre-amalgam. It's just that the characters and worlds and cities are trading.
Right.
Right. I think that real, like 616 Peter Parker, 616 Ben Reilly meets post-crisis Jimmy Olsen, neither of whom are Peter Parker or Jimmy Olsen in this universe.
Right.
Yeah. So it's totally
it's
different.
a new meeting.
Yeah.
But even if it
Jeez.
weren't, it would be a new meeting because Ben Reilly wasn't in this story.
Right.
Right.
But Ben Reilly would also have the memories of that Peter Parker, so he would at least remember having met Jimmy Olsen. If he were from that universe, which of course he's not.
Which of course he's not.
So there's that.
This book has one redeeming quality, and it is this panel. I love this panel.
Just Superman punching
just
Parasite.
Just Parasite's body just boom.
Just ragdoll like it's just that machine.
Yeah, just completely limp, like he is unconscious here.
He is already unconscious before he hits the fucking wall.
He went unconscious when he saw the fist coming.
Yeah.
Oh!
It's like,
I don't want to know how this goes.
this is gonna be bad.
Ragdoll.
I'm out.
Wham.
And the thing's just like folding around his body, like that's how hard
he
he
is
got thrown
dead.
into it. Yeah, like
yeah.
his skull is completely flat.
Absolutely. It's in his shoulders. Yeah. There is no place for you to buy this outside of the aftermarket eBay world.
Shocking.
Superman and Spider-Man is
Kind
the name
of.
of this,
Yeah.
That's technically the title of this book.
right?
It's Superman and Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man's
That's
also.
what I mean, these characters are both in this book.
Yes,
Yeah.
but also so is Hulk
And Wonder
And
Woman.
and Wonder Woman. It's pretty.
Bonus heroes.
Yeah,
And-
lucky
and
us.
Spider-Man doesn't really do anything.
Anything.
He appears in it.
He's
He
having his own
fails
crisis.
all the way up until the last possible second.
That's true.
He almost doesn't even have an opportunity to fail.
Yeah, but if
Mostly
you want to
ends.
trick a friend into reading it, here's how you sell it. Yes, it's Superman and Spider-Man crossing over, but for the same price, you get Superman versus Hulk. You get Spider-Man versus Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Lassos
Webs.
and webs.
Yeah.
I appreciate Doctor Doom being in this.
Doom is the only one who has agency in this book.
But like Parasite, like I mean, I get it. By the end, I understand.
Yeah.
It's just so
Like, why? And then it's funny because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, because you're using him.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. But like,
Yeah.
I
It's a little bit lame.
It
like,
is. Oh,
it's
Doom is
a
like
lot of
a
it lame.
impressive villain.
Yeah.
And Parasite sucks.
Yes. Yeah, it's weird to use like an A-level Marvel villain and a D-level DC villain.
does
Yeah.
Doom at this point have his connection to magic yet?
Oh yeah, he's always had that. He doesn't use it. Yeah, couldn't he have just punched Superman since he's a sorcerer?
He doesn't even try it. That's what I'm saying.
Doesn't even try.
Doesn't even try the magic.
Yeah.
Doesn't
yeah.
even attempt it.
But I do like the idea. It's funny to think about the comparison of like the 616 Marvel Universe has not rebooted, and DC has rebooted at least twice. Like by now, it's funny to have them be like, "Oh, hello, yeah, we met. Doom took over, and what?
What?
I don't know who you are.
I don't even know who you are. I've never seen you before. What are you talking about? Remember when you used to live in New York?
Are you a bad guy?
No. Look at my color scheme.
That's how you can tell.
That's how you can tell.
That's how villains can get like. That's how they trick superheroes.
That's why Hulk keeps getting on the wrong side. Purple and green.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see you guys next time with another episode of Back Issues. Thanks a lot for watching all the way through.
You
Sorry.
made it.
You did it.
You did it.
Hey!
Yay!
You're the real hero of this story. Thanks a lot
right.
for watching. We'll see you guys next week. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Tiffany.
So long.
Wow.
Oh, I traded one crossover for another. You like
did.
that?
Yeah, I did.
You're welcome.
I really like